What's up, guys? Borough Podcast coming at you for a special winter hiatus episode. Let's get through these commercials and then we'll get right into the episode. First, we're brought to you by Municipal Land Survey. Reach them at 631-345-2658. Also brought to you by AS Engineering. You could reach them at 631-560-0259 and on the internet at www.asengineeringservice.com. We are brought to you last by Made to Thrive, an American t-shirt company. You can reach them at www.madetothrive.us and on Instagram at www.madetothrive. Well, no wwws on the fucking Instagram. Dumb fucking bastard. Skip the wwws. Just go to Instagram, madetothrive.us. Guys, we have Adam Kownacki on this episode. Adam's a professional boxer. He reached out to us and asked to make a special break from this hiatus because he's got a fight coming up this Friday, actually the 14th at the Barclays Center, so we were more than happy to do that for Adam. He comes on, he gets into a little bit of a love fest with two of our hosts about training at Belmore Kickboxing. Big shout out to Keith Trimble and the awesome job he does there. Adam also talks about the life of a professional boxer and moving over here from Poland when he was very young. It's a pretty interesting episode, guys. Check it out. Enjoy. Alright, guys, we're live. Let's get into it.
Borough Podcast. D-Rock.
Yarbs. Eric.
Our guest.
Adam Kownacki.
Kownacki? Is that how you say it?
Kownacki.
Alright. I've been butchering that shit.
Like a W is like a V, I guess.
Alright.
Yeah, I've seen other cultures do that as well. I've been calling you Adam Kownacki for like the last 3 years. Say it again?
It's like a V instead of a W.
I know.
It's Kownacki.
Kownacki. I'm going
I
to
was
say
saying
it correctly.
Kownacki. That's how I was pronouncing it.
Kownacki.
Yeah, you gotta make it like a Russian accent. Like Kownacki.
Kownacki. I like that. That's how I'm going to say it from now on whenever we're amongst friends. Actually, anyone. Adam Kownacki.
Yes, real good actually.
It sounds pretty good coming out of you. I feel like you'd be like a badass ring announcer, like introducing him.
I don't know. I don't think I got the voice for that. Kownacki. Maybe if I'm only saying like very like Russian or Polish or German names.
So, Adam, pro boxer.
Yeah.
13-0?
14.
Oh shit, I'm fucking up.
Yeah.
I'm fucking up your name, I'm fucking up your record, I'm fucking everything
Who are
up.
you? Do you even know who he is?
I don't. Nice to meet you, Adam. 14-0. Alright, 12 knockouts?
11 knockouts.
Damn it. At least I give you the benefit of the doubt this time.
Yeah, hopefully you got 12 on the 14th.
Nice.
Yeah, you fight at the Barclays, right?
Yes, sir.
Who you fighting?
Joshua Tough.
Tough? Is he
Yeah.
tough?
Wow, we're gonna find out.
I looked him up a little bit the other day when I was looking at the card, and he's a pretty big guy, very similar in size to you, right?
Yeah, actually, first white guy I'm fighting is a pro guy.
I thought that too. I was like, oh, Adam's fighting a white guy that looks a little bit like him. Something weird's going on.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Yeah, you know what? There's not a lot of white boxers out there, right?
Not heavyweights,
Yeah.
anyway.
well, yeah, the Klitschko's, right?
I guess so.
Some Polish guys and that's about it.
No Polish guys like you, though.
Yeah, the guy Spielka was decent, but he got knocked out by Wilder.
Yeah. I watched that fight.
Yeah.
Good fight till the knockout.
He seems real tough. He's like a pretty tough dude, though, from what I gather, right?
Yeah, he was like a holding and stuff. Out of his mind, but is what it is.
How old are you, Adam?
I'm 27.
27. Okay. And you've been so you've been a pro for what? 5 years, 6 years?
Yeah. I think like 7 years.
7 years. You had a break though, right? Because
Yeah.
I know Keith told me like you had a bunch of fights and then took like a year, 2 year
We
break.
had 4 fights. Then I broke my hand, and then I went to camp with Vladimir Klitschko after the injury got healed, and I tore my bicep. At camp, so I was out for another year.
So you had a 2 year break?
Well, yeah, but then the hand didn't want to heal after the first surgery. So after a year, they said they got another surgery. They got it fixed. So it was a total of 3 years.
Holy shit.
Damn.
Yeah. I got really fat.
I know something about being fat.
You brought up yourself this time.
Well, that was a smooth transition right there.
Yeah, Dave used to be your size.
Really?
Nah, that's a little bit,
Yeah.
that's a little bit of a stretch, but I was hot on your tails. That's for sure. Yeah,
What were you on your heaviest?
when I was fat,
Yeah.
I was probably like 210 fat. But then when I was like, then I went through like my meathead phase, and I got big, I got jacked. I was 230.
Right.
Yeah, but that was like, I was like jacked fat, you know, like that guy. Like
And how tall are you?
I'm 5'11". Yeah, so I have no business being over 200 pounds ever in my life. Being over 200 pounds. Yeah, like right now, I'm like heavy right now, and I think I'm like 180, and that's like pretty heavy for me.
How did you move? Like, did you feel a difference or no?
Oh, huge difference. Like, even before I started fighting, you know, I was still training and stuff like that, but I didn't have like the, you know, when you're fighting, you got to get in shape, and you got to fight at your own weight, weight class you belong in. I carried probably an extra 15 pounds that I didn't need, and when I lost it, is insane. Like, you know, your cardio gets better, everything feels better, you know. But I mean, I wasn't obese, but it was still like weight I didn't need to have. And now that I'm in, like, you know, I don't walk around usually ever over 175 for the most part. It's like kind of heavy for me right now, but even that's good for my size and everything.
What do you fight at?
155.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, my first fight was at 190 pounds. Yeah, learned a quick lesson with that. Like, fuck this.
How did that go?
I won.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I won. My first fight ever was actually a boxing fight.
Nice.
I mean,
Oh yeah, I think I was there,
he
right?
cornered me.
I did corner you.
It was terrible, but
He fought this guy that was like, he looked like he came from the Jersey Shore television show.
yeah,
He's-
bad.
we were in like a boxing gym, and his cornermen both had clear sunglasses on while they were cornering him, and like the spiked hair with all the
And
gel.
the Italian track jackets.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
yep.
They had that on.
That was awesome. Like a movie, huh?
It was like a really, really bad movie on like VH1 from the 90s.
Yeah. And I didn't fight like anybody good. It was like, you know, it was a smoker. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a real, like, it's not. It wasn't like on my record or
section
anything.
was-
Yeah, and it was like for some charity event. It was like in front of a room of like maybe 200 people, and yeah, it was bad. The guy I fought was terrible, and I was terrible, and his cornermen were even worse.
His cornermen were worse.
It was so bad that we were in the back and I was warming up, and we were in the same room warming up, and we were watching him hit pads, and he cornered me, Eric cornered me, and then, do you know Little Eric Uresk?
Maybe.
You might know. So he was at Belmore last year before he moved to Thailand. They both cornered me, and they were like, if you don't win, don't come back to the fucking gym.
How long did you train before your first fight?
I've been training, I guess, probably 3.5, 4 years. I've been maybe doing
Oh, shit.
stand-up for...
Yeah, not boxing, that was
not boxing, I was
jiu-jitsu.
doing jiu-jitsu. I've been doing boxing, like stand-up, maybe a year and a half tops. It wasn't, trust me, it wasn't good. But,
How long you started boxing in Poland originally?
here. No,
Oh, here. Oh, really?
I
Here.
came to the States when I was 7.
Okay.
So yeah, I started boxing at 14. My first fight like a year after training. It's called like JOs, so it's
The junior.
yeah, juniors. I had 2 fights at that. Then I entered the Euro Golden Gloves at 16.
Mm-hmm.
I made it to the finals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and actually I won that my first year.
That must have been real awesome.
oh, shit.
Yeah, I fought a guy who was like 24. Yeah, he was a teacher like in high school, somewhere in upstate New York, and I dropped him twice. Like,
Nice.
put him on his ass. So
And you were 16?
yeah, just turned 17 because
That's fucking gangster.
yeah, my birthday is March 27th, and the finals were like April 14th or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was like 2 weeks.
They'll match you against like that much of an age disparity?
Yeah, I mean it's the Golden Gloves. It's an open tournament, so
Shit.
it's whatever goes. Except it's novice, so under 10 fights or under 2 major tournaments.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So that's got to be pretty cool because the finals are at the Garden, right?
yeah. Well,
So you fought in the Garden as a 16-year-old.
yeah, it was like a experience. I was like, I don't, you don't remember it. It was just like a trance. Just happened.
That's got to be real. That's got to be real exciting.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I've been to the Garden a whole bunch of times because I worked there when they were doing the renovation, and I got to go into like some of the rooms where they store the old boxing stuff, and they had the old scale there, this old wooden scale that like Muhammad Ali and all the old guys used to stand on. And I thought in my head, I'm like, oh man, it's got to be so cool. One day I want to fight here, and there you are at age 16, getting to fight, not only fight but win the Golden Gloves.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
That's fucking...
Yeah, and I made the gloves the following 3 years.
3 years in a row?
Well, 4 years.
Shit.
How is it like when you go back to like high school after that?
And I was quiet, like nobody really knew. Mm-hmm. Well, once this kid goes up, oh shit, I saw you on TV. You want the gloves? I was like, yeah. So, but I stayed like very humble. And,
you got to figure that was like before social media and before the internet really was like big.
Yeah.
So there was really like no way to know unless you watched the Madison Square. It was on MSG channel, right?
MSG,
yeah.
But they didn't like show it live. It was taped, so they showed it like months after. So like it was like 6 months after. Like, yo, I see you on TV. I was like, oh yeah, that was a while ago.
That was months ago.
But yeah, thanks.
Like I forgot about that shit already. That was fucking yesterday.
Nah, you don't forget it, man. It's truly amazing.
See, I that's cool that you were like quiet about it, because I feel like if I was a 16-year-old kid, I'd probably do it now. I'd be fucking 33 if I won the gloves. I'm like, what, bitch? I won the gloves. I'd wear that shit everywhere. Like, I'd be a dick about it. Like, you're the kind of guy I could see just like whatever. You just show up and go back about your business the next day. Like,
yeah, I mean, it was exciting, but I have bigger goals, to accomplish.
Right.
And that's,
what made you get into boxing?
Well, I started with karate. Like Shotokan, I think it was called. Actually, it wasn't for me.
I would hate to see pictures of you in the gi, like
throwing like front kicks and doing katas,
saying kia.
Yeah. I had like a yellow belt and stuff, and I was like, all that shit. But yeah, it was fun, but it wasn't. I like the Russian stuff more. I like the fighting more. That was more like self-defense. So I stopped that, and there was no boxing gyms when I grew up in Greenpoint. And then one day I found a gym in Astoria, Queens. So I started going there for a year. And after a while I decided to go, like, if I want to get better, I should try a different gym. I went to Gleason's.
Brooklyn.
Yeah. That's a legendary gym. So I won the gloves there 4 times. And now I'm in Belmore.
How'd you end up in Belmore? Where was how did that end up coming about?
My friend Mike Prokop.
Okay.
Yeah, he trained with Keith. He's like, yeah, a really good trainer. He's really good. I said, okay, I'll give it a try. I just trained with Keith, and he's great. He's I think one of the top trainers in boxing. Just very underrated.
Yeah, for sure. I think Keith's probably one of the best guys on the East Coast.
Yeah, definitely.
He's up there, in my opinion. Like guys like on the East Coast, like guys like Delagrati get a lot of love. Not that he's undeserving of it, but like he's a big guy. Mark Delagrati, like a kickboxer guy,
right.
Got a lot of guys in the UFC from back in the day, like Kenny Florian and like Marcus Davis and all those guys. Then you got Longo here on Long Island, who's really good too. But Keith is like the diamond in the rough, man. Like I heard about Keith years ago when I first started training. And I from Anthony D'Angelo and Ryan LaFleur, and also Little Eric, and that was the place you went if you were good, and that was the place you went to get your fucking ass kicked. And I remember wanting to go there, but I never thought I was good enough to go. It's funny because I would tell Keith about this before I showed up, and he's like, yeah, it was pretty rough around here back in the day. It had almost got especially on Long Island, it's got a reputation.
He mentioned he used to spar with the guys and
beat the shit
wars.
Yeah. I remember when I was my jiu-jitsu gym, when I was telling them I was going out there, 2 of my instructors, they know him very well. They got their black belts under Joe D'Arcy, and Joe used to go out there and train with Keith. And they were like, "Listen, if you spar with Keith, don't get kicked by him." They were saying how Keith would wear 2 pairs of shin guards and still hurt people. So I was like, what? When I decided to go there, I was like, this might not go too well for me. I might get fucked up. But Keith's cool, man, and the guy's a fucking wizard, man. I went there with no experience, but definitely not that type of experience. And,
right.
Man, I've been there 3 years now, or close to it, and I went from from 0 to, I don't know what the scale is. I'm still not very good, but
0 to 4.
We hang with some professionals that are at very high levels in MMA and kickboxing.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think like Belmore has the roster is crazy. Like the guys that train there, everybody's a fucking winner. Like there's nobody's like really. You gotta bring up combat, right? Everybody, you go there when you fight a guy from Belmore, you know you're in a hard fight.
Yeah.
You got some guys in the UFC. You got Chris Algieri. You got me.
Yeah.
You got Michael Brooks. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a packed gym.
Yeah, everybody there's no slouches. I mean, from the top level pros even down to like the amateurs.
Yeah,
There's definitely no slouches in that gym. Yeah, the guys that are in there, that aren't, I guess, hobbyists for lack of a better word, or like
If you go there, you go to fight. You don't go there to hang out or
Right. What do you think's been the difference like in your boxing since? How long you been with Keith, by the way?
Oh shit. 3 years maybe.
Okay.
2 years.
Yeah.
I think you started around the time that I did, because I remember being down there, and then you were coming down to box a few times originally, and I remember somebody saying, "Oh, we got this big Polish heavyweight guy coming down," and I remember thinking like, "Oh fuck, I'm glad I fight at 85. So I'm not trying to box with the new guy who's just like undefeated knockout artist."
Yeah.
Because sometimes they'll do that. Like, you'll be down there and think you're just hitting pads, and they'll be like, "Oh, why don't you do some rounds with this guy? We'll see what happens." And I'm like, yeah, that's what I wanted to do today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started going there in August 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, I started going there in June of that year. I think May or June.
I think I started February 2013.
Right.
February or March around there, because I started going there when I started working at my job now, because I work in Seaford, and Belmore's literally 5 minutes down the road, and I was like, man, I'm here. I have no excuse not to be going to this fucking gym. Like, it's so close. I have no excuse. And I started there in January of 2013, so I started going not too long after that. So, yeah, I'm coming up on about 3 years now.
Yeah, it's a great gym too. It's like a lot of personalities, a lot of.
Say 13, 17. Oh boy, it's 4 years.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, man. Wow. I hate when these years just keep getting higher and higher.
From my records to my knockouts, shit. Numbers is not your thing, huh?
No. Numbers are not my thing. Math was never my strong suit, no. It's amazing I made it this far.
It's still 2004 in my mind. I'm like 21 or 22.
Yeah, those are the days, right? I remember when I was 16, like, shit, I can't wait till I'm 18 or 21. And I'm like, fuck, I wish I was 18.
I would just kill to be, like, 25 again.
Yeah, for real.
25, I'm 27, so.
Yeah.
33.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm old, man.
Jesus age, huh?
Yeah. When I shave, I got the baby face, too. I look pretty young when I shave, so. I got fuck you. I got called babyface when I was a kid, so I'm real into your nickname. But what do you think because I know that you've been a lot more active, right, since you've been at Belmore. You've had a lot of fights since you've been there.
Yeah, so I had 9 fights. What, 9? 10.
10 in 2 years, huh?
No. Last year 2 years, and the year before that I think 4. So 6, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's pretty active. I mean, what do you think the difference is like? Obviously you're in a pretty high level. What do you think the difference is from like what your previous training? Because like obviously me and Eric are MMA fighters. You're boxing, so like the focuses are different. And like I know, not that I had a lot of experience in boxing gyms, but I know like boxing gyms are way different from MMA gyms and like jiu-jitsu gyms. Like I know it's kind of like.
Yeah, I feel like
on your own and
like boxing kind of like the thing that's wrong in boxing is like very closed in. Like to get in that group is like very hard because like it's a bunch of like seems like really they don't like people from like outside. Like
right.
They're like get out of here. Like who are you?
Yeah,
like,
you're an outsider.
Yeah. It's very. I think about that strong. I think because the UFC brings everybody in. Like I mean MMA, and the UFC is huge compared to boxing, which is not what it used to be. because back in the 70s, it was like the second biggest sport in the world.
Yeah, it was on NBC.
Yeah.
Friday Night Fights on NBC. Like everybody watched it,
And everybody watched it. Like, they have it on right now too, but it's not so big as it was.
Yeah, like there was. I remember my dad, because I grew up watching boxing. The reason why I fight at all is because of boxing. When I was younger, me and my dad, I grew up watching boxing with my dad, and like he used to tell me about like, you know, like Sugar Ray and fucking and Hearns and Hagler Hearns and all that stuff. Those fights were on like NBC.
Yeah.
There wasn't like pay-per-view. Like they were on cable on like Friday, Saturday nights, and like that's why everybody in the fucking world watched it. It was fucking humongous.
Well, it was great fights too. You had two great fighters fighting each other, not waiting, talking about all this other fucking politics and shit.
Wait until one of them's too old or got knocked out 2 times already.
Yeah,
and
it's like,
So what do you think the difference is? Because you came from Gleason's, which was a boxing gym, to now Belmore, which is, I don't want to say it's exclusively an MMA or kickboxing gym or boxing gym. It's a little bit of everything.
yeah.
But I'd say the majority of the guys that fight out of there right now are more MMA guys, right?
Right, yeah.
So like, what kind of like differences do you take out of like the training from like a gym like that to like when you were at Gleason's, where that's like more of like a strict boxing gym?
Not a lot. I mean, just because I had a really good training in Gleason's too, so I can't really mock them or anything. But
No, that's not what I mean. I just mean like what do you see that's different? You know what I mean? Like
I
it's
mean,
just
I guess more scientific.
okay.
Boxing at least is very old school. Like hit the bag, work very hard, cut weight. The idea of cutting weight was horrible. Like, I never got cut weight, but like overall, like the way you saw a fight is cut weight. And in MMA, it's like it's more scientific. Like there's a science behind it and a way to do it, not just working hard. But it's like work smart,
Right.
which is very important.
Right. So you think that's benefiting you?
Yeah,
more?
of course. Yeah, I mean, with diet and stuff, like you know what to eat, you're better. Your energy's better.
It's true. I
Man, Keith is a phenomenal himself. The way he looks, and shit, you know, it's ridiculous.
I would kill. Like I hope I look like that guy.
Yeah.
What is he? 45?
Yeah, 46 and
46. Yeah,
in
in
2
a couple
weeks.
weeks. Yeah, like I want to look like that. I almost want to. There's our mascot, fucking going crazy. This dog's out of her mind. Before I forget, I actually want to mention, because you mentioned Gleason's, a guy Chris and I went to high school with. You know him. I think he's one of your smart partners. He used to train out there. Derek Rossi.
Yeah.
We went to high school with Derek.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. Chris graduated with him, played football with him. You guys were on the same football team for how many years, right?
For years.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I knew Derek really well.
He comes to Belmore, actually helps us spar
Yeah.
a handful of times.
Mike Skanga, the other guy who does the podcast with us, he's not here right now, but his cousin is Derek's brother, Eric. It's crazy,
world.
right? Small world. Derek, man, he took up boxing late too.
Yeah.
Post college football.
Yeah.
So when I started boxing, he was like the biggest thing, like the next big heavyweight come out of New York.
Yeah.
I remember meeting him, and actually in the gym in the studio.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That went to his, I think, maybe 4th pro fight, upstate New York. Yeah, so I knew Eric for a while.
That's cool. Yeah, small world.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all went to high school together. Chris and him are 2 years older than I am, but yeah, it's funny because I've been like, Eric, his cousin, who I see a bunch, he's always telling me and mentioning Derek, and he mentions that Derek goes to Belmore, and I'm like, how is it possible I've never run into him there? Like, I don't even think he'd remember me. I haven't seen the guy in years, but I still never once ran into him there.
Yeah, because you usually spar around like 12 o'clock.
Yeah, because I'm
That's
working.
when- yeah.
That makes sense. So, all right, so you're fighting when?
January 24th.
Yeah.
See, I'm bad with numbers.
That's horrible. These guys are numbers. I think they're January 14th.
January 14th. At the Barclays.
Yeah, that's correct.
I know last time you fought at the actually this might have been
Yeah,
two
four times.
ago. When Algieri fought Khan
So it was like 3 fights ago.
me and Eric were there. You had a huge following there. You had a huge crowd there. That's got to be fucking pretty cool. Like,
Yeah,
you got like a home field advantage.
Yeah, but like it was nuts because I fought after the main event.
Yeah,
I was like a swing bout. So if there were knockouts, I would be on TV. But there was no knockouts, so
yeah.
I fought for the main event. And like it was crazy because one of the reporters, I spoke with him after the fight. He's like, "Yeah, I was about to go home, but I saw this big red." Whole bunch of people standing, so I decided to stay and watch you.
Yeah, all the Red Adam shirts on.
Yeah.
Right?
That was fucking cool, man. Because me and Eric, when everybody emptied out, me and Eric snuck up to the front there, and we were like right up front.
Yeah, we got to have the ringside seats for that bout, so that was definitely worth it.
We were on the opposite side of your corner, and to the right was all everybody.
Hundreds
Dude,
of people with red shirts, like a giant sea of red people, all up in the audience, all cheering for you. And I was like, oh, it's got to be real badass to fight and look up and see that.
Yeah, it was because it was after the main event, so like most of the people left. It was just my group of maybe 300, of maybe 400 Polish people, just and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
It was legitimately a whole fucking section, dude.
Yeah.
Like an entire section of seating. Like, basically, like so we all went to Andre's fight at the Garden and in the theater, and I would say you had probably almost half of that sized, like half that theater was like what you had at the Barclays.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Great fans. Yeah, it's awesome, man. I remember when I was injured, they're one of the reasons that kept motivated. I always see because I grew up in Greenpoint. When I like to say Greenport, not Port. Greenpoint, Brooklyn. So they used to like say, "Yo, Adam, when you fighting? When you coming back?" And so that was really like kept me up. Like, okay, I gotta get back. I gotta show these kids like and the next generation that you could be out of nowhere and make something of yourself.
Right. And so you're gonna have probably more people this time around because I mean you're getting bigger, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, but also like I remember because my last fight in June, I also was a swing bout, and I also fought after the main event. So, but now it was like you have my crowd of people, the red shirts, but then so a lot of regular folks stay too,
right?
Which was really cool. I thought too. That means that I have an interest growing.
Yeah,
and slowly it's going keep getting better.
I mean, I would assume that's got to help because like if you see a sea of fucking people, you see like almost a third of the crowd is there for you. Like if I was there and I didn't know so I'd be like something's going on here. Like this is worth paying attention to. You know what I mean? You're gonna want to stay and pay. Like so you're gonna want to stay and watch that, and you knock people out. I mean,
I'm an active fighter. Like my last, the one before was in last January. I fought Danny Kelly. I threw over 800 punches in 8 rounds.
So, a lot of punches.
There's not a lot of heavyweights doing that.
I don't think there's any actually.
Yeah, 800 punches in 8 rounds.
Yeah, so that's over 100 punches in a round.
Yeah.
So
man.
Is that more punches than Pacquiao threw when he fought Mayweather?
Probably, I don't know. I gotta look at the copy box. But
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it is, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah,
That's nuts.
it's pretty wild. Right, that's what I try to do. I mean, boxing is supposed to be exciting, and that's what I should do. Get a knockout.
What I've heard from like other people is that Keith Trimble, who's like my trainer as well, a lot of his guys are like super high volume punchers.
Yeah.
And I know in MMA and then in boxing, so I guess that's translating like up the ladder because you're probably like our biggest guy, our biggest heavyweight out of the gym. So not just the little guys that are throwing the volume, the big guys too.
Yeah. You too. You got a knockout your last fight, right?
Yeah, I got lucky. I only had to throw like one punch.
You literally could have gotten away with. You should have only had to throw one goddamn punch. There was no reason for any of that follow up. Like
I felt bad hitting him afterwards, but it's I like to hit people, so
that's on the ref. Honestly,
the ref didn't call it. Like the ref didn't call it.
The ref could have stopped. I mean, we were in his corner, and he knocked him out in our corner where we were.
Right.
And he landed that shot, and the sound.
Yeah.
You heard the sound, and then I watched his opponent, fall right back and fall right to his side. And, sometimes in MMA, guys get clipped, but you can tell they're still with it, like get defensive.
Yeah.
This kid didn't do that. He literally hit his butt, turned on his side, and went fetal instantly. He was not there. He was not even close to looking like he was cognizant or defending himself. And the ref just sat there and let Eric throw 10 more punches. I remember being like this. And his brothers got video, and when the ref finally steps in, I was the first one to jump out of my seat because I was already I was starting to get mad. I'm like, are they going to fucking stop this or what? Like, what is happening? Like, why are they not stopping this fight? It was ridiculous. That was bad.
I got him in the eye too. It wasn't like a chin shot where you just touch somebody, and he was moving forward. And once in a while, I don't know. I'm sure you've moved forward into punches while they're moving forward too. And you don't got to put a lot of juice on them, but it hurts.
In the right spot. That's what it's all about.
What's your opinion? This is something I'm curious about because in boxing, trainers throw in the towel a lot. If they see their guys taking a beat and they throw in the towel, that shit does not happen in MMA.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I saw a towel get thrown.
it's not
in
even legal.
MMA.
First of all, you're not allowed to do it. It's in the unified rules that the corner can't throw in the towel. They tried to throw in the towel. Josh Thompson, Nate Diaz.
Mm-hmm.
Nick tried to throw in the towel. He threw a towel in the ring in the middle of the round, and Nate ended up getting knocked out in that round. But they don't even. You can't do it. Like,
I mean, boxing, you're not allowed to throw in the towel too, but you could step on and say, "Yo, that's it."
Yeah.
You got to tell the referee to stop it.
what do you like? What's your thought on that? Because, like, you know, it's like your trainer's job to kind of
Yeah, I
keep
mean,
you from getting your ass kicked if there's no coming back. Like,
yeah, it's hard to tell because like one punch is. I guess it depends like what the fight's about. If I'm fighting for a world title, I'm getting my ass whooped. I'm getting my ass whooped till the very last bell because there's always that chance of winning.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a fight that's really not that important and you're getting beat up, just let it go. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no different nights, you know.
Especially as like a heavyweight, it's not like you guys are like 125 pounds and you don't knock each other out. Heavyweights, like you see punches that don't even look powerful, put guys down.
Yeah, it's
And you're all of a sudden you go from getting your ass kicked for a couple rounds to next thing you know you touch the guy and he's on the floor and that's it, he ain't getting up.
yeah, but it's very but it's also like I think a couple years ago there was a fight in Madison Square Garden where this like 200 feet guys fought. I think it was Mikey Perez and some Russian guy. The guy was in a coma.
The Russian guy, right?
Yeah.
He's all messed up and stuff. That's why with the insurance right now with New York, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's like the commissioner's job, or the referee's job, and the corner's and your cornerman's job to
Stop it. Yeah.
stop it.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that after the fight, I don't even think they made him go to the hospital right away, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And they like had him in the back for a while, and then like somebody had to tell him like a couple hours later, like, oh, you should probably go to the hospital.
Yeah. I read an article about that recently, a couple months ago. They like did a pretty big investigation on about that, and like there's going to be like
Some major lawsuits
major lawsuits brought against the New York State Athletic Commission over it.
because they didn't force him to go
Yeah, it was
directly
negligent.
they were negligent.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
now
they
they fixed it up, and now it's very strict, I think.
Well, I
It's
think
smart.
we came out of that incident
Yeah,
because
but
they
it's-
found the New York State Athletic Commission to be negligent in that. Like, they were like to blame for that guy. Because
It's kind of messed up. I mean, does that what it takes for you to actually give off care?
yeah, apparently,
For the government to care, yeah. I mean,
It's messed up, you know.
yeah.
they have to have the public be ashamed of themselves in
Yeah.
order to get them to do the right thing.
That's wrong, you know.
What like? So, say you were ever in that position, and the trainer threw in the towel on you. Would you like be happy that they were
I'm
looking
pissed
out
off.
for you? Well,
I would be pissed off
Yeah.
too.
Obviously, at first you're
But-
pissed. Like every fighter is going to be pissed off at first. But it, like in hindsight, if you went back and saw, and like, you know, you saw like the guys were looking out for your best interest. Like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, that's
know?
why you gotta have a team that you trust, you know.
Yeah.
Make sure, I mean, my wife. I mean, I have a wife. You know, I don't have kids yet, but she would be I mean, she's at my fights. Probably she would do something first too if I was getting really hurt.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's your life. You don't get one of those, you know.
yeah, I was always curious about that because it's just not something you ever see in MMA, and you know, you see it happen in boxing a lot where their trainers are just like, listen, you know, live to fight another day kind of thing.
Some of those guys take a lot of damage. Like I've seen a bunch of your fights online, and I've been to like one or two of them. And you're not like one of those guys that gets like banged up in fights or gets like takes a lot of headshots. But like other times, you'll watch like a boxing match, and sometimes I'll watch somebody else, and I'm like, holy moly, that's like pretty bad.
Yeah, but a lot of like that stuff that happens is that, and then it's like a lot of gym wars.
Yeah.
Like, sparring is if you spar like out of shape and stuff, and you take a lot of punishment in sparring. I think that's where it really ends up.
Yeah,
And in MMA, they're starting to talk about that now, and the guys that are trying to make careers of it are coming up with alternatives to sparring. Or, like at this point where I'm at, I had my last fight. I only did 3 hard days of sparring, and the rest of my sparring was just like very, very monitored drilling with people that I know. And just to get used to punches being thrown at me at speed, but nobody's out there like trying to hurt me.
Right.
And vice versa, I'm not out there trying to hurt anybody else either. and we're wearing like all of our safety gear, and like some of these guys, they spar with no headgear still. I don't wear headgear. They go out there and you'll show up and there'll be a guy that's wearing like 12-ounce or 14-ounce gloves, and I'm just like, what do you, I'm like, take your gloves off, asshole, get the fuck off the mat. We're not even, if you think that that's okay, you shouldn't even be in the room with us.
Well, I think the headgear is more for cuts and stuff.
Yeah.
Else.
Doesn't do anything for your brains.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it's definitely more for to just keep you from getting cuts.
And then gloves, I spawned on 18s, like 18-ounce gloves.
Oh, you're a big boy. You should throw in like 20-ounce gloves.
Yeah, but you're fighting 10s.
It's nuts.
So it's small.
I feel like it's almost comical when I see you out there wearing those gloves. They're like 10-ounce gloves, and it looks unnatural.
They look like mittens on you.
You're like a big dude, like 200. I don't know what you weigh, 250, like a big dude, and you have these gloves. And if I put those gloves on, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a boxing glove. And like you, it's like, oh, that guy's got oven mitts on.
Yeah, if I put those on, they'd come up to my elbows. You, it's like right here.
Yep. Crazy. Like you're ready to take the pot roast out of the oven.
Just a bit of cookies, right?
Yep.
What's your? I'm interested to know. Even though obviously we train at the same gym, but I don't train directly with you. Obviously, there's a weight disparity, and I don't. We're in different sports, so like, what do you? Besides, showing up and like all the obvious stuff, you do mitts with Keith and your bag work and your sparring. What do you do in preparation? Like, what's a typical camp like? What do you usually do?
I do my strength conditioning with Darius Stankiewicz in the city.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of kettlebell stuff, functional movement stuff. I don't know if you heard of it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, for sure. I do kettlebells is the only thing I do. I don't lift weights at all.
Right.
I do strictly kettlebells. Like
some barbell stuff like squats here and there, deadlifts. But mostly, mostly kettlebell stuff and bodyweight stuff. My bands.
Plyometric shit.
Yeah, and jumps. And then a lot of cardio.
Running,
bike sprints.
Bike sprints, okay. I say you a believer in sprinting or long distance runs?
I think both are important.
Yeah.
Because, the greatest fighters do long distance. So it's like, I don't care what science says. They do it, so they got something in it,
I think there's something to it on two sides.
Especially in boxing, because the fight is 40 minutes.
Yeah, they're real long. They're real long fights.
So you have to condition your legs for longer periods of time, I think.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think you got to do both, and I think the long distance runs are important for two things. Like you said, for the length of time of the boxing, but also I feel, because I fucking hate running, and I was never a runner until Keith was like, you need to be fucking running. And I was like, all right, like, I'm not going to not listen to this guy, So I started running, and it gave me a mental edge. Like, I'm like, man, I've been running, I've been doing, when I was in camps, I was like, man, I've been doing 12, 14 miles a week.
Yeah.
And I was like, then I sparred, and I felt that difference, like, I did 3 hard 5-minute rounds, and I was like, I feel good. And I'm like, all of a sudden I had that mental edge, and I'm like, I've done these hard runs, and then, I started off, I was doing 2 miles, and it was 3 miles, and then I remember like going for long distance runs, and I finally, the most I ever ran was 9 miles, and I remember doing 9 miles, and I'm like, I can't believe I did that. The mental edge, like, to power through a run like that, I'm like, all right, if I can do that.
Yeah, but it's mostly like the first 2 or 3 miles that suck.
Worse.
Yeah, when you first get on there, when you first get out there, and you're just like, the whole time you're like, oh, how much more of this? How much more? Then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, this isn't that bad.
Yeah.
Don't think about it. I just want it to not get bad again.
Yeah. Me and Eric run a lot together, and I think that helps a lot too. Like, we kind of like keep each other accountable. Like, all right, we got to go run today.
Keeps you from bitching out.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're like, all right, I'm just gonna run 30 minutes today, and then it gets to like minute 24, and you're like, oh man, I can just cut it at 25 because I don't got a fight coming up. I don't got a fight coming up. Like, what do I got? When's The Walking Dead come on? I gotta take a shower. I don't want to sit on the couch all sweaty for an hour when I get home.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So what do you put more emphasis on? Do you feel like...
the power work with Keith is amazing too. Like, he gives you, 6-8 rounds of high-intensity power work, which is... I think that's a big component of that too,
When I first showed up and did pads with Keith, man, that was like a shock to me, because all the other pad work I'd ever done was obviously with not people that didn't have the pedigrees, Keith, but also most people would go, but like, all right, you put 3 minutes on,
Yeah.
You hit for 3 minutes, then you take a rest. Keith don't pay attention. There's no clock with Keith.
Yeah.
I was not fucking prepared for that shit.
He sort of like looks at that look in your face, and when you start like getting that glassy eye, then he's like, "Okay, take a minute."
Yeah.
But like at that point, you're like, it's like, all right, it's been 6 or 7 minutes at this point, and then usually like, all right, he's gonna give me a break soon, and then he starts like adding more punches to the combination.
Yeah, you gotta step over and like, come on, two more.
Yeah,
Two more. And then
but if he doesn't like how you finished the last one, you gotta do it again. But that was the other thing I was prepared for, because like I like how I really like the way Keith does pads, like because I feel like there's like everything is building. You know, you start off with the jab, then it's like you slip, then it's the 2-3, then it's you add a kick, and then it's double jab, and you come back with this kick or whatever, and then you'll be doing that, you get in that rhythm, and you're building up a combo, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, slip 2-3, and it's a totally different combo, and I'm like, how the fuck did we end up here? Like all of a sudden, because in my mind I'm like, all right, I got to rest after this. But no, we're on just another combo. And I'm like, God, motherfucker, like I'm tired. Like, snot's coming out of my nose. I'm like, dude, I just got to blow my nose before I fucking cover you in fucking snot.
The other big difference that I felt with him, as opposed to like other people that hold pads, is he lets you hit the pads really hard.
Yeah.
I started having to wrap my hands a little bit differently, and my hands got a lot tougher, and I feel like that translated real well into me sparring and fighting, because a lot of these guys that are doing pads, they're working you like super fast. Oh, just technique. Oh, I want you to work technique. And if you're just doing that all the time and you get out there, then you're going to be throwing little girly punches very, very fast. But if you're out there you're able to put heat on some stuff, then you start picking and choosing like, oh, these are going to be setup punches, but you feel comfortable like letting that 2 go, and because you're doing it in the gym all the time, and not just at a moving target that's very difficult to hit, but at something that you're going to hit that isn't the bag. Like I almost feel like I can punch the pads as hard as I hit a bag almost. With him, you probably can't because you outweigh me by 60 pounds. But
he catches it like
yeah,
it's amazing. Not a lot of guys could do that, and then he does the whole day too.
Yeah,
he just fascinates me, man. Like it's like he works so hard. It's like yo, I don't have excuse not to work as hard as him.
Yeah, I tell you what, I started like helping people out a little bit, doing some like holding pads, like privates with like beginners and stuff like that. And people want to get in shape, and I remember. I was only doing like 1 a day, this and that here and there. I did 3 back to back. The next day I woke up, my fucking shoulders and forearms hurt so bad. I text Keith, I'm like, Keith, I have a whole new level of respect for you, man.
Yes.
Especially because he's holding for guys like you all day, Volante, Ryan, him. I'm like, guys who know how to punch and kick hard. And
he said the guys that know how to punch, it's easier to hold it than for guys that are beginners.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, how he misses is probably a lot of misses and a lot of like him preparing.
They
that
push more, so it's a lot of
a little more impact, I guess, in the joints. I got a lot of respect for that because I woke up the next day and I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I'm like, I can't imagine what Keith goes through.
Yeah, it's
that's why he's a big dude. And he looks the way he looks at his age.
Yeah,
like I've never as good a shape as he is in now, like aesthetically. I've never been in that good a shape in my entire life.
Not once ever.
That's what I used to think about when I was like 14 and I got a gym membership, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get jacked. And then like 5 years later, no, not 5 years later, now I'm 33, so 20 years later I'm still like a long string bean. I got a little bit of definition, but
still working on it.
I still don't look like Keith.
Yeah.
The other good thing that I like about Keith too that I never had was like he watches every round of sparring.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, in between rounds he's telling you things, and at the end like he's like picking up on a lot of shit. I never had that before. And that made my jump up, crazy, yeah. Did you guys have that? Like, is that a big thing in boxing where like they watch every round like that with the other trainers?
Sparring is, I think, key.
Yeah.
I mean, most, like you said, maybe not too much of it, but you got to do it. Like, you could be in crazy shape, you can do whatever you want, but if you don't spar, it's different.
Yeah.
Like, sparring shape is different than
Pad
running shape, and
Yeah.
then pad shape, and then heavy back. Everything, it's all together.
Yeah, it's all different cardio systems. Yeah.
But then also, you could be in crazy shape, and then you end up going to a fight, and you get tired after 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Or 1 round, which is...
You know what? Landing the punches, I feel like, is like a major thing. Like, you could be running on the treadmill, and like I've had injuries where I can't spar for a long time, but I'm still running or I'm still swimming, and my cardio. I'm putting that in air quotes. My cardio is like great, and then I'll go to the gym and I'll try to do like a pad workout with Keith, and I'll just have to tell him like right from the get-go, like, listen, I've been doing all of my running. I've actually been running 5 days a week. I'm like putting in like 25, 30 miles a week just because I couldn't do any other training, but I'm probably going to be a vagina today because I haven't punched anything in a while. And then even getting in good punching shape, like hitting the bag or doing pad work, you get in the ring and you try to spar like 3 rounds, 4 rounds with another guy that might not even be trying to kill you.
Right.
And you're just like, by the end of that like second or third round, you're throwing punches and like 3/4 of them aren't even close to landing, and missing takes more out of you than landing.
Yeah.
And like next thing you know, you like can't keep your hands up anymore, or you're throwing your combination, taking that step back and taking that couple side steps to like give yourself a little bit of time to recover. You start pulling your shoulders like down because you're like, oh man, I'm getting tight. Pulling the shoulders and you're like, oh, let's give this a couple seconds before I gotta like get close to that guy again. I'm trying to take my little break here. But like you said, there's like nothing like sparring.
Yeah.
And it's true.
But it's funny when people from the side watch it and they, oh, why you can't keep your hands up? I mean, come on, keep your hands up. Like, dude, come try it. Show me.
Oh my god, nothing makes me more mad than fucking observers. You know, like, listen, I get it. People, you know, you gotta have you gotta have them, right? Because otherwise, you're not getting paid and you can't make it a profession. But like, people who like throw this hate at fighters who have never been in there, they don't know what it takes. They don't know what it like. You don't know shit. So like, to throw hate at a fighter annoys me. Even if like some of the hates weren't like Ronda Rousey, like her personality, she set herself up for some backlash. But like all these people who like rip her to shreds who know nothing. That drives me crazy, especially on Instagram, man. I remember fucking looking at people's Instagram
Those are funny though.
Yeah,
it's an ass. Yeah,
that's in any sport, though. I mean, there's a whole name for it in football. It's the Monday morning quarterback.
Yeah,
it's
armchair quarterbacks,
it's the guy who has never done it before, but I wouldn't have thrown that pass. I would have thrown this. Get the fuck out! You wouldn't throw shit. Like, you would not have done any of that. Or guy that misses a 3-pointer at the buzzer. It's like I would hit that shot.
I think I think it's like an ignorance and a stupidity thing, because I've looked at it from the standpoint that like I've lost fights, and I've looked at other people like critique like famous fighters that have lost fights, and I've been like, oh well, they don't know them. Oh, it's just because they just want to get like a rise, or they want to say they give their 2 cents and they don't know them, so they don't give a fuck about the fighter. But I've had fights that I've lost where I've had family members that don't know dick about fighting, like come up to me and say, oh, I bet you're going to work on your defense more for next time, right? Or I bet you're going to work on your
family members?
Family members, but it's just that they're just so ignorant and so dumb.
That's that European mentality.
Like that they don't. And you're gonna laugh. You want to know the person I'm referring to was born in Europe.
Wow, Adam with it. Adam nails it.
Born in Europe, so there you go, 100%. And I bet you're gonna work on your defense and your cardio more for the next one, Eric. And I'm like thinking,
you know what? That's good though. It sucks because it's messed up because they don't do it. But it's like good that they judge it, because in America I think it's like it's okay, you got 10th place, here's a trophy. Like, shut the fuck up.
I'd rather have the guy come up to me with some ignorant bullshit telling me that I suck than
a participation trophy.
Yeah, give me the participation award. You're right.
Because what's gonna make you work harder, right? Like
yeah.
But it's also like knowing how to say it. Like after the fight, like fuck off.
Yeah.
But after, like, okay, like say a couple of weeks, like do it, like they'll work on this.
This is like the day after I had surgery that I needed from the fight. I'm like, oh, thanks. I'm not even gonna say his name because he might listen to this because he follows the podcast.
Oh, Jesus.
But then also it's like,
and he's a very close family member too. But just no knowledge of.
Well, I'm gonna let him know. Maybe you should work on your defense next time because Eric might fuck you up. I had a weird run-in. This was years ago. I had a kickboxing fight that I'd lost, and I ran into this kid. We were mutual friends. I didn't know the kid, but he knew the guy I was with. And he says what's up to me. He's like, oh, yeah, I saw you fight. And it was like a year later. He's like, oh, I saw that fight. I was there. I'm like, oh, cool, man, cool. He's like, you know, you need to work on your cardio. And like, I'm like, what? Like, I literally, like,
that was the fight you were sick for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
like,
at that fight. I cornered you.
Yeah, I'm like, I literally like, got done shaking this guy's hand. It's like one of the first things we've ever said to each other. Yeah, you need to work on your cardio. And I was like, okay, yeah. And then he's like, you know, what I would have done is, you know, I would have taken a step back. I would have tried to be a little bit more technical. I was like, what the fuck? I looked at him, I'm like, do you train? And he's like, nah. And I was like, I was so blown away by this. And I was like, you know what, man? Like, I'm all set. I don't really need you to critique me right now. I was like, you don't train? He's like, no. I'm like, so you've never fought and you don't even train? He's like, no. I'm like, do me a favor and just shut up.
The thing is, like, our trainers tell us the same shit that you guys tell us.
Right,
like, yeah, it's just hard sometimes to do. Like, I bet you when you do your job, you do a shitty ass job too.
Yeah.
And it's easy to criticize it from the side, but actually doing it,
It's
perfecting it, it's hard.
Yeah.
Especially something so complex. I mean, it's really simple, but it's really very complex. It's fighting.
It's not simple. That's the thing. There's a lot going on. Like, it's, to me,
But it is boxing. You got what? The jab, the right hand, the left hook.
yeah, but it's more complex than that in a lot of
You got the
ways.
footwork and everything else.
And then you got to deal with. There's no like. Boxing is a skill, just like any other sport. Like there's a skill in basketball, there's skill in these things. But I feel like the consequences in fighting are way higher. Like you have to deal with somebody who's just as skilled as you, and then scrambling your fucking brains. Like it's hard to be skilled when you're tired or fucking concussed, you know, and like people have never experienced that. It's easy to rip it apart, you know what I mean? It's like you said, like, you know, is your job hard? I don't come like in my mind I want to be like, dude, do I come and knock the dick out of your hand in your room? Like, no, I don't do that, so don't tell me what to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like
it's crazy.
There's a lot going on.
People, the thing is, I guess like anything, they just look and they can look at it for face value, but they don't understand like the underlying battles that are going on, like the subtle battles. Like people talk about that Manny Pacquiao fight against Floyd Mayweather. Just, and I'll use that as an example because many people have seen it, and everyone always says, "Oh, it was a boring fight. Floyd doesn't do anything." But what I like take out of that fight, and like I had to explain this to my father, I said, "There's a giant underlying battle that unless you know the sport, you're not really even able to see. All you're looking for is whose fists hit the other guy in the head more times." When Floyd Mayweather made Manny Pacquiao throw essentially 1/3 of the punches that he normally throws, and that feat alone is unfounded. Like, you know, nobody else in this room, probably nobody else in the world, would be able to stand in there, not get knocked out by Manny Pacquiao, and then not let Manny Pacquiao even be in a position to throw 2/3 of the punches that he normally throws. And that's what the normal or the average or the casual fan not only like can't see, but doesn't even know that that's part of what's going on. They're just like, oh, these nobody got knocked out.
Yeah, I think maybe it's like they think they're watching checkers, but chess is actually being played.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's invisible chess.
Yeah.
Because like it's one of those things.
The casual fan is watching like checkers, like, oh, it's checkers. It's very simple, but it's actually
King me.
It's chess. It's like
King me, double jump. I'm the best.
I tell people this all the time, like with jiu-jitsu, and I feel like this applies to boxing and fighting in general. It's like it's one of those things that you'll never understand until you do it. You have to do it to understand it, and until you do that, you'll never understand it. Like everybody knows like punching because people can move their arms, and everybody's been in a fight before, and like, yeah, you're the tough guy at the barbecue. I get it. But it's different when the lights are on, and it's different when you're fighting somebody who's skilled and did all the same shit you were doing. There's a lot of like little things that change not only the sport but the pressure and everything. It's just different.
I've had to be vulgar with people that like are almost.
You're vulgar?
Get
out of here.
No, but like you know what I'm talking about. Like when you're being like Joe Tough Guy. And he's like, well, what would you do?
No. What's your opponent?
Joshua Tough.
Wrong guy.
Wrong guy. But you know, Joey Tough Guy that's like, oh, what would you do if I did this? Like, if I got my hands on you or I hit you, you definitely go down because I'm a big guy. And I have to like let them know, like, you don't train.
I agree with that. I'm like, yes, you're 100% right.
But you're not going to hit me. That's the problem.
Well, that's what I'd say. I'd be like, listen, we could fight for an hour straight, and you would not be able to hit me once. That's what would happen. And they're like, no, and like I'll have to like sort of goad them into it. Like I could like piss on you during this fight, and you still wouldn't be able to hit me. No. Like, listen, man, how much money are you willing to put on this? Because I will put money on this. If you'd like me to say that, like I like almost like feel like obligated to show them how wrong they are because they're so like adamant about it.
Yeah, that's ignorance though. You got to say yes. You're right. Good luck.
There was a guy after one of your last fights. Keith posted something on Facebook, and some guy starts talking shit about you.
Oh yeah, I think so on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember Keith wrote like Keith had an awesome response. He was like, "Thank you for your detailed analysis." He's like, "You're clearly an expert, and I'll take your advice and put it into my next training camp."
But that's the way you gotta fight it. What you gonna argue, these idiots?
Yo, the internet people, they're like make believe. They're not even real to me. And the way I look at it is like the more people on the internets talk shit, the more people are probably going to watch you at your next fight.
Yeah, but it's good though. I mean, that means you do something right if people are talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why always when people are like asking for a picture or whatever, it's like, wow, yeah, it feels like, wow, thank you.
It's like Kim Kardashian. It's like Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. As long as they're talking.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, I didn't like Conor McGregor for the longest time, but I watched all his fights.
Yeah, I like Conor McGregor though.
I like him now. You know what? He won me over.
Yeah, but he's proving that.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff he talks.
I give that guy credit for backing up all his shit. Yeah. Like, yeah. He's not personally my favorite guy, but I have a ton of respect for anybody who could talk shit like that and show up and get it done, especially as many times as he's done it.
Yeah.
Like that's why I love the Diaz's, because they would fucking pop shit all the time, but like
they're not pulling out of injuries 2 weeks before fights. They're coming in and doing what they got to do.
Yeah. Switching gears a little bit here, I want to get your opinion on, like, because we were talking about this before, like, you know, how boxing used to be.
Yeah.
Like, what's your opinion right now on the current state of boxing?
Well, I think because my manager is Al Heyman, and he's been pushing me very well, building my career. I think it's going the right way. I mean, him as a manager, got the Premier Boxing Championships, which is on local TV, free TV, which is awesome.
Yeah, we count those. Like, I know the CompuStrike and CompuBox does a lot of counting for them.
Yeah, which is awesome, I think. But, I mean, the promoters do a better job of promoting the fights. And behind the scenes, they got to do... I've been to a couple UFC fights with Gian. And the way that is run, it's much better than some of the boxing fights. Yeah. I think you need to make it...
They're building stars, and they're trying to build like a long-term career for guys, I guess, as opposed to like the promoters used to just try to like make as much money off of like the boxer, I feel like, as they could.
Yeah, I mean, it still goes on though.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
The UFC is good. Like, it's different though, because the UFC, it's about the brand UFC. I mean, you have your superstars here and there, but it's like they shine, they get messed up, and on to the next one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they're constantly building it though. There's always
somebody. We have Brock Lesnar before Conor McGregor, right?
Yeah,
that was the biggest
GSP.
Yeah.
And we see them at the gym at one of the other or some of the other gyms that we train at. That have like, or even at Belmore with Keith, like the UFC, whenever there's guys fighting, or even when they're not fighting, they're sending crews down to film, and they're taking pictures and things like that.
The promotion is done so much better. Even like stuff like they got Joe Rogan with the podcast and stuff. It's mind blowing.
It gets people excited about the fights that are coming up.
But it's also like this guys that don't really know stuff. They get educated too. Like, okay, this is really not that easy as it looks.
So maybe you're gonna have to start coming and hanging out with us more then.
Yeah.
You have to come talk about boxing more so we get it out there.
Yeah, maybe, sure, man.
Maybe we should do like a boxing podcast for like the big boxing shows and talk about like what's going on, like something like that. That would be pretty
nobody after the fight, come back. Detail, like run us through like the whole.
We'll put it on the screen.
Experience. Yeah, we'll watch it and you like that would be cool. I think to like run us through the experience of what it's like. From warming up to getting out there, like the experience backstage and all that stuff. Would you be into something like that?
Also, yeah.
Fucking all right, nice. I think like the model for the
you say you grew up watching boxing, but now you don't really give a fuck. You could name probably 20 fighters.
No. I can name more now though than 6 or 7 years ago because I feel like boxing's actually making a pretty good comeback.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying with Heyman and PBC.
Yeah.
That's.
And it seems like they're doing a very good job promoting.
I think decent job. I think it should be better.
Yeah, they're having the fights locally. They're at Barclays. They're bringing in local guys. They're building local talent, and it's. I feel like they look at it like, oh, why is the UFC doing so well and boxing not? Boxing isn't. Boxing has been around for so many years. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think it's the model that's a problem because you had you got the WBA,
so many different
the WBC,
belts.
the IBF, the this and that. Yeah, and it's like then you get guys like you got Golden Boy, you got whatever Mayweather's
top rank Mayweather promotions,
and like getting, like you said, for how many years did everybody want to see Pacquiao fight Mayweather, and it happened 7 years after nobody gave a shit.
But still, it was great numbers.
It was great numbers, but like. You wanted to see that fight when it was relevant, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The UFC, these guys are all fighting each other. The best are always fighting the best.
Yeah, it's within a year. It's within a year or two of when it's relevant at the most.
Some of the big knocks on boxing were like not having these guys the best fight the best, and it's because of all these different promoters. And the UFC is centralized; it's one big promotion. And it was like you said before too, like even just MMA in general. Everybody's training with each other, and boxing, like you were saying, is like a little bit more isolated. It's just
like, don't let that guy in, and I don't want him seeing what we're doing.
It has to open up. I mean, to grow, but now with internet, you have so much knowledge. Everything is out there. Like if you want to educate yourself, you can do it. Just googling shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all. Everything's on you. Like you want to do whatever, and the information is free. Like but there's also too much information, and you got to kind of sort out what is right, what is wrong.
Yeah, a lot of bullshit out there.
Yeah,
there is a lot of bullshit.
Keith says that all the time. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just pick shit up on YouTube, and you guys believe it.
Yeah, but that's what I think it is overall. Like you try shit, if it works, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I love about jiu-jitsu is like you try things. And if it works, you keep it. If it doesn't work,
throw it out.
Throw it out. Exactly. Yeah. That's what it's about.
So that's what boxing is like. Something like the UFC, like that model, like where guys fight each other, and also the fights. Like the UFC fights, you have 3 5-minute rounds, right? Yeah. Boxing, you have sometimes 10 rounds of a boring fight. You don't want to
watch that.
Right. It's like
so much.
But you were at the fights for Andre's fight? Did you stay? I don't know how long you stayed.
Actually.
Okay, so you didn't see the John Fitch Jake Shields fight?
Yeah, I heard about it though. You told me
terrible.
You told me. Oh,
I was telling you about it. Yeah, but you heard what he said at the end. How I got a bad report from the urologist.
Right.
You know that
definitely went.
Why you say that kind of like you just got legalized in New York? You say.
Yeah.
Well, I think he was kind of doing that because I think it was
the fight set.
Well, no, I think he was announcing his retirement too. He was saying like this might be it for me, but like
For anyone that didn't see the fight, which is probably most of the people because the World Series of Fighting isn't the UFC, 2 ex-UFC fighters, Jake Shields and John Fitch, fought each other for the, I guess, what is that, 150 pound?
170.
Oh, 170 for the 170 pound title, World Series of Fighting title. And it was a very boring fight. Both of them are very, very good, very, very skilled, both on their feet and on the ground.
But aren't they like over the hill? Or not yet?
Not really. Not really. Like they're still maybe a year out of their primes, a year to maybe 2 years out of their primes.
Right.
So, like it shouldn't have been a boring fight, but neither one of the guys really hit each other standing up. And then when they were on the ground, nobody was really throwing punches. And I was watching the fight with my wife, and I said something's weird, something's going on. And I was thinking, maybe these guys, they're sort of friends. I knew they were like friendly.
Yeah.
They're from like they've known each other for years. Maybe they just decided like, all right, we're not going to train real hard for this fight. It's around Christmas time. Let's just go out there and collect our paycheck because they're both making like over $100,000 if I'm not mistaken.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So I thought, maybe they're just going out there and they're like, all right, man, let's not go out there and kill each other. We'll both make our money and then we'll our next one will be a tough fight. And people were booing the whole time. People were booing. People were jeering in the crowd. Like people were leaving, and it was a boring fight. It looked like a grappling match for the most part. But at the end, John Fitch won a very close decision. I mean, a very close decision in a real boring fight. But he said this might be my last fight. I got a bad report from his neurologist, and the CTE and the traumatic brain injuries have been like a real hot topic in combat sports, especially over the last year. And a lot of these guys now are having issues, or the retired fighters are having issues from head trauma, football players as well. And it was almost along the lines of like, then I saw, I was like, oh, I get it. This guy probably got a bad call from the neurologist and told his friend, and they were just sort of like, all right, well, we're not going to not get paid for this fight that's in a couple weeks. Let's just agree not to really hit each other.
Well, to be fair, too, Jake Shields and John Fitch are not the biggest strikers. They're way more grapplers. And I was actually excited for that fight because I like the groundwork, and they're two of the best guys on the ground. I thought they would make it exciting, transitions and all that shit. No, it was fucking...
Yeah.
It was awful. But
then this UFC is better, like, or whatever MMA is, like, when they actually train and stuff and beat the shit out of each other, and then, like, maybe get a knockout or a chokeout, whatever. When they're on the ground and just do that grappling stuff, that's kind of boring. Right?
it can be, and I'm a grappler. I enjoyed that shit, and it still bored me in that fight. It definitely can be. Like, I love jiu-jitsu, I love doing jiu-jitsu, but if you watch, like, high-level jiu-jitsu tournaments, it's a fucking snooze fest. Yeah, it's a fucking total snooze fest. And it's coming from somebody who loves jiu-jitsu.
I don't even watch. I very, very, very rarely watch jiu-jitsu because I'm just not interested in it whatsoever. The only interest I have in jiu-jitsu is its application in fighting or MMA.
Yeah. It can be real boring. But I thought, because there are some guys who are exciting and when they're really good can make it look like Damian Maia. I watch Damian Maia all day. And I was a big fan of John Fitch and Jake Shields. But they just didn't.
Well, maybe that leads to my theory, my initial theory of, oh, this fight's right after Christmas. Let's just enjoy the holidays and we'll collect a paycheck.
Yeah, it sucks for me too. It's my second year in a row where I got to fight right after New Year's, right after Christmas. So
you don't get to. It's real difficult. You don't get to enjoy yourself at all. I was real happy. My fight was December 16th, and then like literally like the next day, I was just like unloading on the chocolates and the cookies.
Yeah, I was like in bed at fucking 10 o'clock. I went to a fight, then went to get dinner with friends, and came home and sleep. It sucks.
At least you don't got to watch what you eat, you heavyweight.
Yeah, but lately, kid gave me
the ultimatum. He's like,
lose weight or get the fuck out. Nah, he didn't say that, but
that's what he was thinking, though.
Probably.
He just didn't want to hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
Sick of this shit.
Because he yells at me when I'm not doing the right thing. He just like look at me and he'll just be like, give me that look, like you know the look, like what the fuck are you doing, man?
Yeah, but I think we know that we're doing wrong. It's like he's just like fed up with it. Like, yo, you that stupid. Like, come on, like, we talked about this like 100 times, especially with diet. It's shit. It's like you hear it, and the worst is like I know what to eat and how to do it, but just like
listen, I'll give you. I have a real strict diet now. I've been doing my real strict diet for about a year, and I've grown to like the foods. And now, when I start eating junk food, like I feel terrible. Yeah. Once I cut out sugar, I quit sugar. I want to say last year I had an accident over the winter. Last year, I cut off one of my fingers, and so I cut out sugar while I was healing because I knew that it would help me heal a little bit quicker. And I started running and doing like a variation of like the ketosis style diet, and now. After my last fight, of course, I'm like, oh, I'm going to indulge myself. My wife loves to cook and loves to bake. So she started making like the oatmeal cookies that my grandmother used to make. And she makes things out of chocolate. So she goes to like the chocolate supply stores and buys like these giant like 2-gallon bags of chocolate discs.
Is that a real place, the chocolate supply store?
Oh yeah, Kerry's Candies in Quorum. You can go buy all types of like molds and like
the Willy Wonka.
Every candy you can imagine.
Don't give me that fucking address.
Yeah, but I went real hard, and I was talking to our trainer Keith Trimble about it, and he's like, well, "What do you mean by hard?" And I was like, "What I mean by going real hard into the sugar is you eat until you think you might die, and then you take a break until you no longer feel like you might die, and then you eat again until you feel like you might die." And I'm not talking about
what did he say to you?
He just like looked at me like there was something wrong. He's like, and how long did you do that for? I was like, from December 16th to January 1st.
You'll get a kick out of this, Adam. So I show up, I think it was like a couple days after his fight, and I'm training, and me and Keith are about to start, and you know, some days I'll be like, hey, what's up, Keith, before we start? And he's like, all right, just jab. All right, cool. You know, sometimes he's not into it. He starts talking to me about the fight and everything. And he's like, by the way, when my back is healed, I'm fucking you up. And I'm like, what?
I heard this.
He's like, I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm like, what the fuck did I do? And he's like, you didn't tell me about Eric. There might have been a small debacle with the hand wrap.
Yeah.
Keith is mad at me over it.
Yeah, I heard Eric is
I don't like to get my hands wrapped tight
I
because
heard it was falling off.
yeah, I don't like to get my hands wrapped very tightly because on several occasions when I fought, I couldn't feel my hands by like halfway through the second round, and my hands would just get like so filled with blood that I like almost couldn't control them.
You like
they were
just
going numb.
overthink shit.
I do. I'm very analytical.
Everything.
Yeah, like that's bad. But how is that when you fight, man?
Well, I've sort of learned to turn it off.
But when you fight too, like
Yeah, when I fight, I don't think about anything.
Yeah.
When I fight, I feel like it's the only time in life that I'm truly free. and that's probably why I fight. It's like literally like, well, my last fight was only 19 seconds, so I feel like it didn't count. But it's like 19 seconds of freedom from everything and everyone.
You looked real free because your post-fight celebration was super awkward, but you didn't really care, so you must have been real free.
Oh yeah, I didn't care at all. Like, you know how it is when you fight and you win, you get that like feeling that I feel like you can't really get from doing like anything else, right?
yeah,
There's nothing better.
I've won team sports and like championships when I was a kid. Like nothing like major, but like you win like a roller hockey championship, or like your soccer team does well in the league and wins the best game, you score a goal. And I feel like the feeling you could have from like scoring the game-winning goal is like absolutely nothing compared to smashing somebody with the violence in front of like everyone and winning. Like that's like a combination of like every narcotic combined all at the same time, and it lasts for a while too, like a couple days usually.
yeah, that high is crazy. Like I know a lot of people that picked up boxing and stopped. Like yo, can't wait to go back. Like or fighting. Like I guess it's that that rush is it's nuts.
There's nothing.
You can't generate
like
that anywhere else. And I like I've done team sports, I've won things, and then I've done some pretty wild shit too, like skydiving and bungee jumping and rock climbing and stuff like that. Like nothing compares. Even though the shit's fun, you get a good rush out of it. Nothing. There's just nothing.
Yeah, especially when you get that punch, when you know your knuckles hit the right spot.
Yeah.
It's just like wow, like
it's like
it's a wrap. Like
yep.
Well, in MMA you gotta finish him, but in boxing, once you hit him, and it's
especially
he's
like
not getting up.
you big guys, sometimes you have like that punch and you like walk off, like you're just like, yeah, what's up, and you like turn around and walk away.
Yeah, like,
Oh man, I've always wanted to do that in MMA, but like then you got in MMA, you got to jump on top of the guy.
Unless you're Mark Hunt.
Yeah, Mark Hunt, he's a big guy. Adam, if you did MMA with those little gloves, you'd be
God.
sitting people down.
You'd send people's eyeballs at the back of their skull.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what do you what's your biggest win? What was like the most gratifying win to you? Like the one that just felt the best?
I think my first fight with Keith and the guy I fought was I guess my kind of first step up. I was like a 9-1. He was a Golden Gloves champion too from Kansas City. Mm-hmm. He won a national Golden Gloves, so he was really big, and it was a good fight. And then like I remember one round, like he was always getting up first, and then like the fifth round came, I got up and he was still sitting down. And I was like, I got you, motherfucker. Yeah, I dropped in that fight, and his head hit the floor real hard, and the ref stopped right away.
Do you feel like there's a big psychological component in between rounds? Because I feel like there is in MMA anyway. Like, do you look at your opponent in between rounds, like, you know, if he's getting a little bit tired? Like, I know if I can feel, like, I watch all my opponents, obviously you look at their tells, and I had one opponent that I knew when he got tired that he would always throw this like lead leg front kick, and halfway through the second round he started throwing that like front kick. So I'm like, oh, look, he's getting tired. And I remember thinking, like, he's definitely going to be looking at me to see how heavy I'm breathing when I get in the corner. I was so tired I wanted to die. Like, I literally wanted to. I didn't know if I was going to even be able to sit up on the stool, but I just stared across the ring at him like I wanted to kill him. Like I was like the Tasmanian devil, and I was like, I saw him look at me, and I was like, motherfucker's going to look up again in like 20 seconds. I just sat there and stared at him like I wanted to kill him, and then sure enough, he like looked up again, and then like looked right back down. I'm like, he's done. That was it. I knew he was done, and then I finished him the next round.
Yeah,
but I was so tired after that fight, I couldn't even stand up so they could take a picture of me with the belt. But I remember thinking, like, I mentally beat that guy in between the second and third round, and that's what defeated him. Not that, like, I was better even though I was, but it was that mental. Do you do that in boxing? You think about it in boxing at all? Or?
Yeah, I mean, most definitely.
Like, you're like, oh, I'm going to get up first. I want to get up first. Because I never thought about that. Like, I'm like, now that's something I'm going to use. Like, if I know the guy's, like, getting a little tired, I'm going to be like, get out of the way, Keith, and I'm going to jump up and, like, maybe I'll start, like, do some jumping jacks. Like, yell, what's up?
Hopkins did, push-ups in between rounds, right?
Yeah.
I guess it fucks with the guy's head, especially if he's really tired.
Yeah.
I mean, it is mental warfare too. I think that's why Conor McGregor is so great. He gets in your fucking head before.
Yeah.
Tyson was such a phenomenon too, because you lost the fight before you even
got in there.
He would say that all the time, like walking out. He's like, I already know this motherfucker. He already lost his fight.
You could do it the way it's too. Like you could tell if somebody's shook or he's ready.
Yeah,
it sucks. It sucks though. You know, like when you're ready and he's ready, you're like, fuck, it's gonna be a long night.
You had something like that at the weigh-ins where you knew, like, all right, this is gonna be like, this is gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, a couple of times.
What was like the giveaway? How did you, like, just a feeling or something?
Yeah, it's like a feel. Like, yeah, I guess like then you feel the energy. You always. I mean, it's maybe like taboo or like new age and stuff, but everybody gives off a certain energy, right? Like how you feel and stuff. So yeah, you feel it. So it's like, oh shit, he's ready. So it should be. Yeah, it's gonna be fun tomorrow.
I found that out a little bit too. Like you'll see guys, and I always feel like when guys are over friendly with not just you, but like everybody in the room or everyone everywhere, I'm like, oh, this guy's nervous. He's like trying to make friends with everyone. Like, oh, he's making friends with the commission. Oh, he's saying hello to like anyone he walks by. And I'm just like, I like going to like a weigh-in or I'm at like the pre-fight meeting. I'm just like, fuck everyone. I had some pops
You're like
into
that
my head.
Anyway. There's no difference.
But like, I'll befriend people.
It's just another day.
If I see a guy like being one of my opponent, like my opponent, and he's being like real quiet, I'll like make friends with him. I'll like go and sit next to him or sit next to his coach and be like, "What's up, guys? Gonna have a good fight tomorrow, right?" And just sort of like give him like the look, like you're like, "Yeah, I don't give a fuck. This is just another day for me. I can't wait to fight you. I'd fight you right now if we could."
And tomorrow.
Yeah, and tomorrow, and the next day, I'd fight you for free.
I can't wait to fight. Like,
what do you think about like the whole pageantry of fighting? Like, I know me and Eric have talked about this before. I hate it. Like I don't like all the like
promotion.
The promotion. I'm
pictures.
not. Yeah, like I hate all that stuff. I'm not into like the whole like package of it. Like you got to stop and take all these pictures, the self-promotion and all that stuff.
Well,
and, like, I hate all that stuff. I get yelled at by my friends, like, we didn't even know you were fucking fighting, because, like, I try not to, like, post about it and all that stuff.
But at the same time, you got to do it, you know? It's part of the game.
Yeah. No, I know you have to do it, but, like, me personally, I fucking hate all that stuff. I'm curious about, like, how you feel about it.
When I was younger, it was, like, really, like, you pick up your entry song, like, what's, walk into and stuff. Like, it was big. I guess, could you watch it? Like, oh, I want to be... That was your idols.
Yeah.
That's how you learned about it.
And that's what you're thinking about, like, yeah, I'm going to walk out. I'm going to get that rush. I'm going to get that feeling. And now, like, that you're, like, professional and, like, you're good. It's like, you're like, I don't want that rush. I want to be calm. I don't want to get tired.
Yeah, I don't got that stuff so much. But, it's like, it's more like a regular day. Like, but I remember, like, my first fights with Keith, I was very anxious and stuff. He's like, don't worry, you just got to get back on the flow. Because it was a 3-year layoff.
Yeah.
So then after it was like, but he's better. He got better. But, yeah, I mean, it sucks, but it's also good. Like, you need to get out there, let people know what you think about it, and, like, get to know you.
Yeah.
Right? Know your story and stuff.
True. What do you, obviously you're a professional boxer, so do you do anything else to supplement income-wise, like to pay everything, or do you live exclusively off boxing?
Right now, just boxing. Years ago, I did construction, I did bouncing, so, yeah, it was tough, but now, hopefully, a couple more fights, and
start
right now,
money?
yeah, but now it's just enough to get by. Luckily, I have a good wife. She's a hard worker too. My parents help me out too. They live with me, so we're getting by. But hopefully we get that call for the big fight soon. And
you keep knocking people out, you're gonna be there soon.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna be like, yeah, Adam, that's my boy.
Yeah, it's coming. I mean, this fight is definitely a step up. Joshua is 19-1, so it should be good. I mean, hopefully I get this one. And the next fight will be a bigger name, and that will put me on the map.
I mean, you like from a couple years ago till now. I mean, the amount you've been fighting, how busy you've been, and this is your fourth fight now at the Barclays, and I'm big into like I'm constantly like surfing like all the internet and reading and stuff. I've seen your name out there more than before, so you're knocking on the door.
Yeah, but it's a lot of like Polish community, but I also want to get like Polish American, like so I get hopefully like Long Island and like I see now I see that two more like a lot more Long Island people coming out to support me like in the gym and stuff, which is awesome, And hopefully, I mean, but it's all about like that. I don't think that matters. It matters like put on a good boxing fight, making sure like the fight's interesting, and bring boxing back to what it's supposed to be.
You're perfect for that because like there's not a lot of exciting heavyweights, dude, and you're exciting, and you knock people the fuck out, and like you said, your last fight you threw 800 fucking punches. There's no other heavyweights doing that.
Yeah.
So you're, when you get to that platform, which isn't far, and you get there and you put on a good damn fight, dude, you're going to win a lot of people over because there's not a lot of heavyweights out there like you.
Yeah.
I don't think that, I can't think of a single heavyweight that throws the amount of punches that you throw. I can't. Even at the fight at the Barclays when we were there, me and Eric, I remember looking at you at one point, I was like, dude, holy shit, you outpunched your opponent.
Yeah.
Like 10-1.
10-1. It was insane. I was like, dude, his output's retarded.
Yeah, it was funny. Like, I left my friends like, yo, dude, I saw the fight. The second round, I was like, yo, he better stop throwing so many punches because he's going to tire himself out.
Yeah.
We're like, damn, he doesn't stop.
That guy you fought at the Barclays the one time with the when Algeria fought Khan, that dude was fucking tough too, man. Cause
he was a former Olympian.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Because, dude, you fucking teed off on that fucking guy.
Yeah.
And
a couple of those punches were so loud when they landed. I was just like, that's why I fight at 185 pounds.
Yeah. We were up there and we like kind of like snuck up to the front and like kind of we had befriended these guys earlier in the night who thought they thought we played for the Manchester United soccer team.
Oh yeah, we had really good seats. We weren't like ringside, but we had very good seats. And Manchester United, the soccer team, was sitting like right next to us.
Still there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
So everyone thought that we were part of their team just because we got like blue eyes. We looked sort of European.
Well, it was more you because you're tall.
Yeah.
So like these guys we got there early. We were in the row and there was nobody in a row, so we just went to the end. I'm like, let's be close because the guys were walking out right there. I'm like, let's just be on the railing. And so like 3 fights in, these guys show up. They're like, hey, you're in our seats. They're like, yeah, sorry, our seats like in the middle here, but there's nobody here. And then all of a sudden starts filling in, I guess, as the televised portion starts. And these guys fill in to the right of us and in the row in front of us.
Yeah, Connor's from England. That's why they were there.
Exactly. Yeah. So the guy next to Eric is like, oh, you're with Manchester? He's like, you guys are with Manchester? And we were like, what? He's like, Manchester. We're like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, the soccer club. This is all Manchester. And I was like, nah, man. We're like, no.
What's funny is I thought those guys were paid seat fillers because they use that a lot. Like early in boxing, they'll like hire actors like early in the card. Yeah, like in like the undercard, they don't want it to look like there's nobody sitting in the front seats because most people just come for like the big fights, like on the main card. And I was like, oh, these guys are all probably like paid actors that are here because they were all dressed very nice. They were all real good looking, like good looking dudes. So I'm like, oh, there's something weird going on here. And then after they were like, oh, you guys with Manchester, and we like realized, I looked over and I like realized the one guy was wearing like a $25,000 solid gold Rolex, and I was like, oh shit! So we made friends with them too.
I ended up. I'm going to try and find the picture. I ended up.
He was in the newspaper.
I was in the newspaper because I was sitting next to this guy. The guy's name is Joe Hart. He's like mega famous, and he was the goalie.
Yeah, he was the goalie.
Yeah, I was sitting right next to him. I ended up bullshit with him the whole night, and they took pictures. Like Manchester takes in the game, and one of the guys' name was Dave.
And that's Dave. And that's Dave.
Yeah, and I got text messages from all these people sending me screenshots of the picture of me in the paper and shit like that. Like, and it's me and the guy looking up at the screen. It's like Manchester United. I'm like, oh shit, look at that. Because I had no fucking idea. I'm like, the guy could have been lying to us. Yeah, Manchester City. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big soccer fan.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to the Euros in France with my wife because Poland made the quarterfinals.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I went to. It was good.
Well, we like kind of befriended those guys, not the soccer team. Even though those guys were cool, the guy Joe was super cool. I was bullshitting with them.
Real
all the time.
nice, super
real
nice
guy. But the guys that originally thought we were on the team, we went up to watch you, so they came with us and they were sitting there with us. And I remember they were like, "Dude, your fucking boy is throwing." Like, they were like really impressed by it. And then one guy actually, did the one guy know your wife?
Yeah, it's real funny. the one guy, my wife teaches at like a very at a real good school district in a real nice area, and they were obviously we were in really expensive seats because Dave and I had gotten our seats comped because we worked for CompuBox, and we were in, I don't know, they were probably like $500 or $800 seats.
Right.
So the guys next to us were like very, very, very well off as well, and they were asking us where we were from, and we were telling like Long Island, and the one guy's like, "Oh, I live in Miller Place." I was like, "Oh, my wife is a teacher in Miller Place," and it turns out my wife had his daughter in her class the year before.
That's small world thing.
Yeah,
Right?
real small world.
Yeah, but like the six people theory.
Yeah.
6 degree separation. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, because everybody's connected to each other with 6 people, right?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It was real bizarre. That was a fun night though. That was like, we had a lot of fun that night. We ended up at some real sketchy bar afterwards in Brooklyn.
Yeah, it was like half strip club, half slasher goth.
Yeah. What's it called? The
Lucky 13 Saloon or
something
Saloon
like
13.
Bad Luck 13 Saloon or some shit like that.
I'm gonna go back there one day.
That's where,
Maybe after your fight.
that's where your friend is from.
Oh wait, what?
That's where your friend is from.
Oh no.
Well, no, my buddy Justin.
Yeah, we ran into some other people and they brought us there afterwards.
Yeah. My buddy Justin lives in Brooklyn, and he's
Brooklyn is changing though, man. It's nice.
Oh yeah. He's like the real estate king of Brooklyn, and he's like, it's fucking insane what's happening now. Yeah, it's not even. Used to, like, I remember when I was like 18, I worked for this battery company. We'd do jobs in Brooklyn all the time, and like all in the city, and like, you know, if you were going to Brooklyn, you're like, fuck.
It was like Bay Ridge, Greenpoint were literally like the only 2 nice areas.
Well, Greenpoint was bad, like Bedford and stuff. Like,
Bedford's always, but Greenpoint at least had the Polish community, which like kept it together.
Yeah, but it was like
Kept
spots.
it classy.
Like,
Yeah,
anything past Greenpoint,
yeah.
past like Manhattan Avenue, like you don't want to go there. You get stabbed or something.
You get robbed if you were out in the street, and especially when it was dark out. Forget about it. Yeah, I remember it would be like, where are we working? You'd be over by what's over under the Verrazano over there. There's like the big Italian community parks. Now it's Park Slope. And it's nice.
Ridge, right?
Bay Ridge, because you could we'd go in there. I used to do construction, and we would do like road construction projects. So we weren't on a job site; we would be out in the streets, and we would never know where to eat, especially if you were going to be in the hood, because you're in the hood. Like all you got is like
bodegas,
Crown Fried Chicken, and like I'm not about to go in there. It's Crown Fried Chicken with check cashing in the same store.
Paychecks and Crown Fried Chicken.
And we'd always be like, "Oh man, we got to bring food because there's going to be nowhere to eat." Right. But if you were in Bay Ridge or you were in Greenpoint, you knew like, all right, there'll be like some good like Polish delis, you get something to eat, some good Italian places, you get something to eat, and then everywhere else was just almost hood. But now it's almost like the only hood is Bed-Stuy, and I'm trying to think, East New York.
Yeah.
East New York.
East New York is still
bad.
Oh my god. I was like 20 probably. Me and my buddy Dave, we worked for his dad's company, and we did industrial battery work. And we had to do this job in East New York, and we took the train in because it was like literally right, like the job site was right there, and we took the train in, and it was a night job. So we started at like 3 in the afternoon. We got done like 12:30, 1 o'clock. We had to sit at the East New York train stop for 25 minutes waiting for this fucking train. And we were sitting there, 2 fucking white dudes in blue jumpsuits, you know, like we were wearing the jumpsuits for like all the battery ass and everything, sitting there. I'm just like, dude, this is not fucking good.
It's like the movie fucking The Warriors.
Yeah.
The Warriors.
Yeah, dude, we're sitting there, and like, thank God it was like February, so it was cold, so there wasn't as many people out. But like, if we didn't have our tools, I really think we would have gotten fucked up, because like we had all these bags and tools and stuff like that, and like, you know, people knew we were there working, so they didn't really fuck with us. But like, I'm like, man, this is just not good. Like, people coming by, like, you know, eyeing you down. A couple people were like, "Fuck you doing here?" And I'm like, "Work." Like, what do you do for work? I remember this guy was like grilling us. I'm like, man, this is like in the Nextel era. Remember Nextels? We installed the batteries that powered their satellites.
So you're like, listen, you fuck with me, your prepaid's gonna get shut the
100%.
fuck off. I'll shut off this whole motherfucking neighborhood.
100%.
Boost Mobile gone.
100%. We did a job.
Boost Mobile, you'll be using the heel toe express to communicate. Tin cans with strings in between, motherfuckers.
Heel toe express. We did a job in the Marcy projects, installing the batteries, and I remember I had to go back to the van. Get the Carson. I was like bringing batteries, pushing batteries, and this dude, I walked past this guy probably 5 or 6 times. Walking past him, and he's like, "The fuck are you doing?" And I was like, "Powering your goddamn phone." And he's like, "Word?" He's like, "You keeping me in business, dog." And I was like, "Right on." He's like, "Don't worry, we'll keep a clear path for you." I was like, "Right on."
I fought once in East New York, and my dad, he speaks no English, like a typical Polish guy. He goes to a deli. Anyway, looks at him like, "What the fuck are you?" And he just does like takes 3 steps back and leaves. He's like, "This is not the place for me. So go watch myself fight and get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, dude, East New York is bad. It's like, man, I was fucking legitimately like terrified. I was like 20 years old too, you know. I'm like, I had never been in and out of the city that much. Like I was still learning, like, you know, traveling through the city and stuff like that. You know, I'm like, I don't fucking belong here, man. Like, I'm gonna get stabbed or something. That's bad. But yeah, Brooklyn. I mean,
It's changed a lot. Now we can't afford to live there anymore.
it's insane. It's the highest real estate in the country right now.
Isn't Queens?
No,
Queens is.
it's
up there.
Brooklyn
Queens is
right
up
now.
there, too.
Queens is up there too. Yeah,
Astoria and Long Island
Astoria,
City.
Long Island
They're
City,
putting
yeah.
buildings up
Crazy.
yeah.
like they're putting buildings up like they're like, oh, we got money burning holes in our pockets.
Yeah, it's.
Well, everyone's following the model of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It's just like insane.
I have so many friends that live in Astoria
It's so
now.
populated too. It's like
Yeah.
it's crazy. I can't like.
People on top of each other.
That's what it
It's fucking
is.
ridiculous.
And you know, it's cool because you get the whole social element. There's lots of awesome businesses and great things to do. Lots of culture. I mean, where else in the world can you eat
Yeah.
just about any type of food within a 15-minute drive? Like you get Ethiopian food, Thai food, Polish food within like a 15-minute ride.
Yeah, it's good, but it's like. I grew up in Greenpoint and I lived in Ridgewood for a while. Like sometimes it took me like an hour to find parking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's horrible.
Parking in Brooklyn's a fucking word. Just traveling in Brooklyn.
Especially like
is
6 or 5.
You forget about
So
it.
till 4 you might find something. After that, forget about
You get on
it.
that BQE
Or the
at
Jackie
like rush hour.
Robinson.
Ugh.
And now they're building a
Worst road
bridge.
in America.
I feel like the Jackie Robinson is like something out of like the movie Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
That is the worst road in
It's
America.
fucking so bad.
You get on the
I don't
Jackie
know.
Robinson.
Cross Bronx is pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, no, Cross Bronx
No.
is bad.
Jackie Robinson is worse for one goddamn reason.
If you drive off, you could drive off the edge and hit
There's
those
an accident,
barriers.
you're stuck there forever.
Not only that, but they
might have to
fixed it
camp
now.
out.
But they used to have, dude. There used to be, it used to be called the Interborough Parkway, and it used to be like a legitimate highway, and it used to have a divider, and they like knocked parts of it down. There was a part on there, and I'll never forget this because I was driving it in one of the goddamn work vans. You would have to literally dodge the remnants of the goddamn wall. It was left there, and it was like 2 feet high, and you could like drive right over it, and rip your car to pieces. It was ridiculous. I mean, it's the worst fucking road in America. Potholes everywhere, and a fucking it's the worst fucking road
It's
ever.
pretty fucking bad.
It's terrible.
I think I'm better.
It's better
It's
now.
better now.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm
it's better
talking
now.
2000 to 2002. Like
Oh,
when I was.
maybe.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was fucking terrible, man. I used to drive work vans all the time over there.
The
Yeah.
Cross Bronx is still like that, and
Yeah, the Cross
there's
Bronx.
fucking traffic No matter what time you drive,
Yeah,
it could be 2 o'clock in the morning.
I've been there at 3 in the morning, and I'm like, next thing you know, it's 3 in the morning, and there's bumper to bumper traffic. And I'm looking at my wife, and I'm like, how is this possible? Where are you going? I just want to roll down the windows and say, where are all you guys? Where are you going?
Well, that was that fat fuck from New Jersey who was causing all that traffic. Fucking asshole. There's that whole fucking scandal with him.
But that was on the other side, though.
Yeah, Chris Christie.
You think it didn't leak over?
Well, no, he was keeping traffic in Jersey.
Oh.
That's what they backed up the traffic, so it crippled the entire town.
Yeah, he didn't like one of the towns that had an exit like right over the bridge or before the bridge, etc.
The mayor, the mayor didn't support him in
wouldn't endorse him or something like that
for like the
his
presidency
re-election.
or his re-election.
So I'm talking out of turn.
He's like, fuck you. And they started doing like weird construction and shit. Like
Not
that.
even. They would just have the traffic cones, and
they
shut down like one half of like the highway so that everyone was always in traffic right by that guy's town to like fuck with him.
You basically couldn't go through Fort Lee like any time during the day. You couldn't get through the entire fucking town because the traffic was so backed up.
Awesome, great, love it.
Fat piece of shit.
To change gears for a minute, I want to ask you about like the Polish community. I know that they really support you because we see them at your fights and like in the masses. It's got to be real cool to have like a group behind you because like myself as a fighter, like for me to like cultivate, it's like basically like my friends. I don't have people like that come out to support me for any other reason other than like I don't know. Sometimes I'm like all right to hang out with.
Even that's questionable.
Yeah, even that's questionable. I'll give you that. But like I look at it like similar like Conor McGregor. He was like very, I don't want to say like very easily, but more so easily than I could get all of Long Island behind me. Like all of Ireland is behind him. Is that something that you like consciously think about? Like, oh man, I can do this because I got this. I got a country that'll back me.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Yeah, I have. Like you guys saw it. I have that in a sort of way.
I see the Polish articles on like your Facebook and stuff like that. So like they're writing about you
in
like
Poland,
in Poland every time you do something, and you're probably they probably write about it in like the Polish newspapers here. Like I know I get like the German newspaper here, but like they're writing about it, and like I'm like, oh, that's got to be like real cool to like see yourself in like the local community or the local paper.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's great to have a country behind you. I mean, that's why America's weird. Like, you guys don't do that. We don't do that.
We're just out to see who gets their head knocked off first, and then we don't even care about the sport until like the next time someone might get their head knocked off.
Yeah, but other countries don't have so much stuff. It's like, okay, we have this great guy. We don't have a lot of great things. Let's support him all out, which is awesome.
That's got to be
what
so
does
cool.
Ireland have other than Conor McGregor? Like,
they're not good at anything.
You're a shitty soccer team.
I mean, they're not even that good. I mean,
No,
they're
second shitty.
They got potatoes.
Whiskey.
Yeah. I will give them. They got the whiskey and the scotch. I will give them that, and they're real good at it. The best.
But Scotch is what? Scotland, no?
Yeah,
it's the same. They're like. I mean, that's like
same.
Nassau County and Suffolk County.
They're cousins.
They're like right next to each other. It's like Queens and Long Island. We're attached.
Yeah, I don't know. You say that, but for them, it might be very offensive.
Oh no,
yeah,
but that's like
if you call an Israeli a Palestinian or something like that. It's like
yeah, they live right next to it. Well, it's like when I go somewhere and they're like, "Oh, you're from New Jersey," I just like put my fists up. But I like clench my jaw and put my fists up.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like how so close. Like, I get mad to, oh, you're Russian? No, motherfucker. Like Polish.
When I worked as a bouncer, I had blonde hair when I was younger, and I have blue eyes. I'm pretty tall, and people would mistake me as Polish. And I worked at a couple of clubs where I guess they were like in more Polish areas of Long Island. Lindenhurst has a lot of Polish, a big Polish community, and Bethpage at one point in Copeg. And I remember I was working at a club there, and it was like my first or second night working there, and these Polish girls came up to me, and like, I mean, I'm not a bad looking guy, but I'm not like the type of dude that like when I go out, girls come up to me and talk to me. So these girls,
I've seen girls come and talk to you, fucking.
but in any case, these group of girls,
the wife was listening.
Yeah, this is before I was like married or even dating her. But these girls they came up to me and they're like talking to me a little bit. I'm like, oh, this is like pretty cool. What's going on? These like pretty Polish girls are talking to me. And then they're like, oh, where are you from? And I was like, oh, I'm from here. Like, no, like, where in Poland are you from? And I'm like, oh no, my family's German. I'm from Germany.
They smacked you?
No, didn't even get that. They literally turned around and just walked away without saying another word. That was like the end of the conversation. And after that happened to me like 2 or 3 times, I started lying. And
so that's smart.
I started lying. I was like,
from Krakow.
I'm a quarter Polish. My grandmother was from Warsaw, but then moved to Germany, and then my family's from Germany. That like quarter Polish swung. That was like, all right. It wasn't like they were real into me, but it was enough to keep the conversation going. I did get laid once off of that, so got a couple dates with Kasha, crazy bitch, and her mom had the purple hair. And she was crazy. Scary, too. A little scary. It was the only girl that I dated that I was ever, like, afraid of when we broke up. I'd when I'd get out of my car, like, at the club, or I'd go back to my car at, like, work, I'd look around to make sure there was, like, no movement in the parking lot. It might be Kasha with a knife or something like that.
That explains a lot.
I actually have a question for you since we're on the topic about, like, having, like, Poland behind you and all that stuff. I don't know enough about it, but I was hoping you'd tell me about it. I know it was a couple fights ago, but I know you had the shirt about, wasn't there some kind of like Polish genocide or something like that?
No, Warsaw Uprising.
What was that about?
Well, during World War II, a lot of like guys were just fed up with all this bullshit with the fucking Germans.
Sorry,
as he stares Eric down.
sorry, Uncle Arno.
On one side, and the Russians on the other. They just fucked us from both sides, and a bunch of regular guys. So you know what? We're fucking fed up with this shit. Gathered a group of people together, and they stood up, and they fought for 40 days straight, supporting all these guys with nothing. They didn't have no weapons. Just it's a great story. With whatever they could find in the streets against the powerful Nazis and Russia.
Oh shit!
I mean, yeah, they like survived that. It was
just like a bunch of regular dudes.
Yeah, like we're fed up with this shit.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, like my grandfather's brother was in it, and it's crazy. It's called AK, Armia Krajowa, which is like the home army, and yeah, it's a crazy story.
So is that like something that's like still celebrated in Poland?
Yeah, I mean now, especially now, it's very like Poland's becoming very patriotic again, which I think is important, and yeah, they're very into it.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I think you had a shirt about it or something.
Yeah,
like
it's Warsaw Uprising.
Yeah, and then like I read you discuss it in the interview. It was something I actually want. This was before I really even knew you though at the gym, so I didn't really get into it. But I remember seeing your shirt, like reading it as much as I could, and I don't think we'd even like met. Like I'd seen you in the gym, but I don't think we knew each other at that point. So I didn't bring it up because I'm not really the best icebreaker. But yeah, that was something.
Eric got very quiet.
he's feeling bad about it right now.
I was crying a little bit. I was just rubbing my eyes.
The story is crazy. Like if you really Google it and read about it, it's like a lot of really brave men just gave their hearts off for freedom. You know.
So what was the end of it? Did they win? Did they?
I mean, yeah, the communism take over, and you had a lot of fucking liars and undercover Nazis. Communists.
You could say
no. They weren't the Nazis. They were from the Russian side.
Communists. Yeah.
Kasha used to talk about this all the time when we were dating. Yeah. And she would talk about when the wall. She was over there, like when the wall came down and like the whole 9 yards, and how their family got here. And she had all of these vivid stories about being like a child and growing up under communist rule. All these terrible things that they did to her family. The secret police and like almost like in Germany it was the Gestapo. I guess it was not the Gestapo.
Secret Service.
No. In East Germany, I can't think of what they were called. The Stasi. It was called the Stasi in East Germany after the communists took over. But it was like the same thing that was going on in Poland.
Yeah.
It was just a real terrible time to live there.
Yeah, that's right. Like people like going for socialism and stuff. It's like you have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like
the Bernie Sanders people.
Yeah. Like, in theory it makes sense, but in practice, it's horrible.
We've seen what happens.
Yeah,
like,
people it kills it. Like,
you got to put a wall around the people to keep them to live there because everyone just wants to leave.
Yeah, you can't be creative because it's like you're just going to do. Yeah, it's like you're just getting enough to get by.
Socialism is the government equivalent of a participation trophy.
Yeah, basically.
right?
Yeah.
Because there's
Everyone gets the same thing. No
Yeah,
matter
there's
what.
no incentive.
So,
There's no motivation. Like you said, you can't be creative. You can't.
It makes no sense.
I mean, you can, but what's the point?
Yeah,
What's
it
the,
just kills.
Yeah.
Well, if you do
kills
that, it's like
you
it's
drive
frowned
it or
upon
something.
almost. Yeah.
Yeah, like people in Russia, like, I read somebody was talking about it, like they killed people. Like let's say you had cows, and someone was smart enough to have 4 instead of 2. They would tell the government that they would come and take you out. Like you can't be better. That's what it's about. Trying to do better. I mean,
Yeah. What's the motivation to
accomplish anything.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And if the people have no motivation, then the country, I feel like they never move forward.
yeah.
Look at Cuba. Look at where,
Country,
look at where
society,
Cuba is.
people. Like I think that's what it's all about. Making life better, right?
Right. Yeah, you need that motivation. I think honestly, like what you said, like the people that would snitch on you because you had the cows, like they're trying to bring you down. That mentality is the same mentality, in my opinion, of people who take to the internet to shit on fighters.
Yeah.
Like they see somebody who's
Trying.
trying to climb the mountain.
Doing things that they probably want
Yeah,
to do.
They're
and-
throwing rocks at them on the way up.
Yeah, like those are the same kind of people, in my
I'm
opinion.
going to pull you down. Instead of picking myself up, I'm going to pull you
Yeah, a
down.
bunch of fucking crabs in a bucket.
Yeah, but what are you doing? Like, well, why are you so better than me, right? Like,
Yeah.
Are you successful? No, so shut the fuck up.
Right. Yeah. Fuck you and your 2 cows, bitch. I got 6. Fuck off.
That's right. I mean, that's why America is so great, and that's why everybody comes here. Even though, like, everybody, well, fuck America. Hey, shut the fuck up. Then why are you here?
Yeah.
Like, I'm proud to be Polish, but I'm so proud and lucky to live here. Like,
Right.
my family won, there's a lottery to win a green card.
Mm-hmm.
And like in Poland, there are like 2 parts where I'm from. Like Podlasia, it's like the northeast and the southeast, which is like very poor. There's no jobs and stuff, so it's hard to get by. And most people here in the States are from those 2 parts of Poland.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's a lottery, and we won the green card, and we came here with the whole family.
Like a legitimate lottery.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it is. That's how Kasha came here as well. Like,
Yeah.
now that you mentioned, I remember her talking about the lottery and how it was such a big deal, and her cousins were like real mad because they didn't get to come for another, like, I guess 10 years, and they had already been like established, and it was still like there was tension because of it. Because
it's people don't realize, like,
That's insane. There's a lottery to leave.
yeah,
Wow.
because I mean, you get a visa, but it's a tourist visa. Like when you
Right.
get a green card, you become here a citizen. Like,
Yeah.
it's tough, and people don't realize. Especially if people complain about America, like, oh, it sucks. Like, shut the fuck up. You haven't been to other parts of the world where it really sucks. Like,
I tell people that a lot of my friends were big into, like, especially over the election. I'm like, look, man, you guys
the
don't
election sucks. Like, both candidates
Oh, it's terrible.
suck.
Yeah, I
They're
mean,
fucking horrible.
like, but look, I mean, what? I don't trust Hillary at all. Like,
I don't think anyone does. That's
I don't trust
That's
any
the shit.
politician
Yeah,
at
yeah.
all. But like I would tell these guys, like, look, man, you guys are coming from, like, we being born in America, we hit
You already won the lottery.
we
jackpot,
hit the
yeah.
lotto.
Yeah.
Like, we hit the geographical lotto.
yeah, like, you talk about the 1%. Like, dude, we are the 1%.
Right. Even
the world.
even if you make over $30,000
Yeah.
in America, you are part of the 1% of the world.
Yeah, but also like fighting. Like, I got a chance to do that here in Poland. Forget about it.
there's no money. You're not going to make any money over there.
I'm not even money having the chance to fight. Like, now it's growing a little bit, but just fighting a gym or something, forget about it.
I look at it like I try to give people the example, and this, I guess it's not a great example because Germany's obviously a first world nation that's doing very well, probably one of the best out of all of Europe. But from the standpoint of going there and making something of yourself, like here in America, say I want to start a company that makes brick walkways. I can just fucking go down to the business office, hire a lawyer, and for $250, I start an LLC, and I have a business. I get a sign, I buy some bricks, and I'm Eric the Brick Guy, and I can
Instead
start.
of Eric who hits women.
Yeah, that's better. I'm Eric the Brick Guy, and I can start. I could literally within 1 week, I could be doing jobs, putting bricks down and putting walkways in. In Germany, you're not allowed to do that.
Well,
You have to be an apprentice.
you should. That's kind of better, no? Because
What?
that's kind of better. Because if you do a shitty ass job, I mean.
Well, is it better? But how do you ever like claw your way up? Like I have a multitude of relatives.
You become an apprentice, right?
But sometimes it takes 10, 15 years in some of these trades before you're even allowed to like work on your own or go off on your own. Like I have cousins in Germany. Like to become a barber here, it's like you take a bunch of classes, you fill out the paperwork, you get the license. You could be a barber. You can cut hair in somebody's salon. In Germany, there's like a 10-year process in order to become a master barber over there, and that's what you need if you want to open up a barber shop. Here, I have friends that got out of high school at 18, went to cosmetology school for like 1 year, and then by the time they were 21, they owned their own barber shops, and now they're in their 30s, they own several barber shops, and they're doing very well.
Wait, you have to 10 years for a barbershop?
Yep. I have two relatives that are barbers. It's 10 years to become a master barber in Germany. And it's a hierarchy. It's like a guild. It stems from the Middle Ages.
They only have like 4 haircuts too.
It's bald. It's a really bad fade.
One mustache.
One little. It's a little like. It's much smaller than the mustaches we're used to over here. But people don't realize, like over here, if you want to do something, like you can literally decide what you want to do and then be that within a couple years.
Look at this podcast.
Yep.
You can do this.
You can literally do whatever.
In Germany, you probably need a license to have a podcast. I don't know for a fact. It might be new technology that got in too quick, but any of those old trades, there's like a whole lineage, and you have to be like a member of the guild. Like my grandfather was a carpenter.
I want to be a part of a guild. It just sounds fun.
Yeah, but also something like it's great. Like if you're good at it, your business will continue to get better. If you suck, well.
Here, but yeah, I don't know. I just look at it like here, like we have much more freedom, and I look at my relatives that are from Germany. Germany has an economy that's not like equal in size, but it's, from what it sounds like, equal in strength and opportunity. And my cousins there have nowhere near what we have over here. Like over there, my cousins that are in their 30s, they live in like tiny little apartments, and a lot of them don't have cars, or maybe they have like one car and it's like a real small like Ford Fiesta, and they share it. Like a couple will share it, and like that's what they've acquired by the time they're in their 30s. And they'll never own a home, or if they own a home, it won't be until they're in their late 40s or early 50s. And some of them, like I have relatives that are in their like 60s that have never owned homes in their entire lives, not because they don't want to, or not because they don't work hard or they don't try, just because it's not feasible there, and they don't have the opportunities that you have here. Like I just feel, I don't know, I feel like obviously there's opportunity everywhere, but it's open here. It's more open here than in European nations.
Just the ability that we have here to hustle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't have relatives or anything overseas, so I don't really know a whole lot about it. But based off what you guys are telling me, there's not even an opportunity over there to hustle.
Yeah,
like
that's what it is. You're not allowed, but you're not allowed to. Like there's so much bureaucracy and framework built into the government that you can't even do that.
I have 4 jobs. Literally, I have 4 jobs, and like just to have the opportunity to be able to do that is huge. Like I don't think you'd be able to do that anywhere else. You know, like how would that work? I'm afforded the opportunity to have like, you know, have my regular job, my career, and everything like that, but then do 3 other things that I hustle for on the side, and like I don't know that you'd be able to do that anywhere else. And like, you know, there's people that complain about it sometimes. Like, don't get me wrong, you do anything long enough, it can get annoying, and hustling all the time does suck sometimes. But like, man, like I'm happy with that, knowing that I know I'll always take care of what I need to take care of, because I'll always fucking hustle.
Yeah, but it's also like what you love, what makes you happy, right? Do what makes you happy. Make sure you put out something good. Like that's when it's good, not fucking some piece of shit work. You know, like that's what most important. Like, putting out quality products, which is.
And if you put quality out, you'll be successful. If you put out shit,
it's not gonna be.
You go pick up some other job or other skill.
Yeah, like I got a fucking right now. It's like this year I'll make it my year. That's why I can put like hashtag Conquer 2017. It's like I gotta get the fucking weight down. I'm sick of being fucking a little fucking pudgy. And it's like I want to be professional, and I think I could do well. I think I could make a name for myself and be a world champion, which is the ultimate goal. But it's like this year, it's like you gotta really like fuck everything else, focus on yourself, and get that shit done.
You gotta want to do that more than you want to eat that good food.
Yeah,
and that's what I've always felt with the diet. Like for years, I mean, I love chocolate, I love sweets. I'm a dessert guy. I was never like a real big regular food guy, like the Italians, like I was never like big into that, but I was into like, what do we have for dessert? Oh, what kind of cake? What kind of cake we got? Oh,
cupcakes.
Oh, I made that good cake. Like I was always into like that type of stuff, and then like I had to realize that while I eat that, the next day when I go to training, I'm getting only like 85% out of my day. Yeah. As opposed to 100, taking 15 or 10% away from like each training session that I get. And Ryan LaFleur actually is the one that brought that up to me. He's like, every little thing you do that you shouldn't do takes like 5%, or say it takes 5 or 10% away from a training session.
Not even 1 or 2. That shit adds up.
Yeah, if you're training 5 days a week, you're losing 50% of your training. Then if you're losing 10% each day because you decide to go out and have a couple beers with your buddies. Yeah. And at dinner time or whatever, do those beers make your life any better? Those beers make you any money? Did those beers get you laid? No.
Sometimes beer gets you laid.
It's important though. Like
I think the beer and the women get you laid more than the beer and yourself. I don't know. Beer and myself gets everyone mad at me.
I get a lot of charisma when I'm drunk. So
I think it's a balance. Everything you gotta balance everything right. Like everything is important. You can't just 100%. Say go this way or go this way. That's why I think the fucking politics. Everybody's like either so far left,
one way or the
so
other.
far right. Like what the
There's
fuck
a gray area.
Yeah, like
I'm a centrist. Like people say to me,
people want to be white or black. No, it's make it like you say gray. Right, make it.
I have both sides are assholes.
Yeah, make it in the middle. Like,
and neither side cares about any of us either. It's just like who you think. It's basically like
2 teams that neither one of us are on.
Yep, and
but they're together. But they're making all the fucking.
It's your perception. Basically, like your perception of who's pretending to like you more,
right?
Even though they both hate you.
Yeah. There's. I think that's the problem is that people like. I feel like people attach themselves to something and then run with it.
A cause. A lot of people vote based upon selfish means. Like, oh, I'm going to vote for Democrats because I think I'm going to get more if there's a Democrat in office, or I'm going to vote for a Republican because I'm a Catholic and I fucking hate gay people, or I might be gay and I don't want there to be more gay people because I might want to be gay then if there's more gay people. Like people are weird. They like vote for stuff like that because they have these like crazy like.
Yeah, but it's weird because like. They did Jimmy Kimmel did something like when he asked people, like he gave them he talks to Hillary supporters, giving them Trump's views. Like, oh yeah, that sounds awesome. Like, dude, but this is the opposite
view. Right.
He's like, oh, people so blindly follow the team. Yeah, that's it. It doesn't matter.
Educate yourself.
It doesn't matter if it makes sense. It's not. Nope. That's why. That's the other side. Like even if it makes sense to you, like that is a good idea. Like say, like what you said, he read off Trump's platform, and these people are like, oh yeah, that sounds great. They're like, oh, you would vote for that? Yeah, I would vote for that. Like, well, that's Trump. Oh, well, no, not from him. It's like, what do you mean? If it makes sense, it makes sense, right? Like, and I feel like people get attached to that stuff where it's like they're unable to like reason outside of that.
Well, that's part of the problem. Is it becomes almost like a popularity contest.
Yeah, it is.
It's not what they're saying; it's how they're saying it to you, or
what they are. He's Republican. Nope, we're not. We're fucking dyed-in-the-wool Democrats. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Or who you with? Like your friends are fucking Republicans.
He's against abortion. He's going to make abortions illegal. Nobody's making abortions illegal. We need them. Nobody is going to make abortions illegal. And people that still vote on that issue, I just want to just stab them in the eye because I don't think that they should walk amongst me.
Well, that's a fucked up topic, and we as guys, we shouldn't really discuss it. Mm-hmm. But I think it's fucked up to take somebody's life.
I think it's terrible. But I don't think that it's going to change.
Yeah, people are going to do it. But I think if you do it, you should risk your own fucking life if you want to take somebody else's life. Like, do it somewhere in the woods where you could fucking die too. Cause
that's pretty fucked up, Adam. You're one of those fucked up right-wingers.
Well, that's why I'm in the middle.
I'm in the middle, and some things,
Because I think when you take somebody's life, that's fucked up. If you didn't want to have a kid, don't fucking have sex without fucking condoms.
Yeah.
Like, be educated enough to know what the fuck you're doing.
Well, here's the problem with that, is there's too many dumb people that use abortion as a form of contraception.
Yeah, that's why.
That's the problem. Well, because there are some times where people do, for medical reasons, it has to be done. Yeah. And also, I'm a firm believer in individuals' choices. Like, I don't agree with abortion in a lot of ways in some circumstances because I think, like you said, the responsibility is on the individual. And if you use abortion as a form of contraception,
Maybe
you're
they
an
should,
idiot.
maybe they should cut your pinky off if you want to get one.
Quite for dick, like.
But the thing is, I don't think it's right to tell
trying
people
to
what
take
they
it
can and
back
can't
from that a
do.
little bit. We're going back to the center, Adam.
We got to keep the fans free right now. You can't be cutting dicks off, Adam. No one's gonna want to come see your box. A couple pinkies, they might understand. Like that's an Eastern Bloc thing. They cut fingers off.
Maybe the end of the pinky, just the end. Just the end.
Or cut off that thing that sends actually the sperm to the.
Yeah, I don't know. I look at this all like I try to break everything down to like what's the cause, and I feel like the cause is
Shit.
helmet laws on bicycles.
It comes up every time.
And we make all of these laws to save dumb people. That make dumb people. And so we have handrails when there's like a 4-foot drop off because if you don't pay attention, you fall off this like 4-foot cliff, you might die. You need to die if you're going to fall off a 4-foot cliff. You need to die if you're not going to wear a seatbelt. Like there should be no such thing as seatbelt laws. It should be up to you. It should be up to you.
There's a Nazi coming out of you.
You know what it is? It's not the Nazi. It's like I'm all about efficiency.
Ethnically cleansing. He's just saying.
I'm not. This has nothing to do with ethnicity. It has to do with IQ.
Yeah, so you go.
They did that too, by the way.
We want to take that bottom third out and get that bottom third as small as possible.
That's bad.
And race has
This is
nothing
every
to do
time.
with it.
This is every time.
Race has nothing to do
Yeah,
with
but
it. Ethnicity has
But you
nothing to
do,
do with it.
yeah, but you're taking out
IQ.
people.
Just IQ. I want to take out dumb people.
So you take a test and.
No. I don't want to leave the test. I just want to give them every
Natural
opportunity to do it to
Okay,
themselves.
let's climb up this cliff. If you fall off, you're dead.
Jump off then.
In China, you're gonna laugh. In China, I was on like a mountain in China when I was with my wife, and all of a sudden, I was like,
So
"Whoa,
what if you push somebody up?
well, no, I was like, "Oh." I was like, yo, that's a pretty big ledge. And then all of a sudden, that ledge kept getting like the fall off the ledge kept going down. All of a sudden, I'm like walking on this like 4-foot wide sidewalk. And I like go and I like lean over and I'm like, yo, that's like a 40 or 50 foot drop. And there's no signs, there's no railing, there's nothing. There's little kids, like little Chinese kids, like running up and down with their parents. I'm like, in America, 1/3 of these people would be dead. Here, they already died. And these are the smart ones left. That's why the Chinese are going to win and they're going to take over.
And there's also like 1 in 4 people are Chinese.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And that's why they're going to take over. We're all going to be Chinese 100 years from now. All the descendants of Genghis Khan.
You're like conquer the fucking world. Shit.
I mean, I share some of your views. I do think like people should
Dave's
be,
like fuck.
There should
no,
be no
because I'm
seatbelt
big on
laws.
individuals. Like,
Seatbelt
if-
laws should only apply
I
to people
agree.
up until the age of 16 or 18.
But then what about driving?
No.
What about
Like
people
kids-
that drive and are like over 65?
They should be allowed to drive.
You should take a test.
You should have to take
100%. I believe that too. I almost got hit by an old lady today in a Jaguar while I was on the way home from the city. They're like,
Isn't that extra maddening?
Oh,
With some old
rich
person in a
old
car
lady.
that like I can't afford. I saw this fucking old piece of shit in a Maserati that day. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you're
can't
half
drive.
dead.
You can't even enjoy that,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
like,
your
you
dick
can't-
can't get sucked. It doesn't get hard
Yeah.
anymore. What are you doing with that
You
car?
can't even hit
Get
the gas.
Buick.
You can't even use that car well enough because your heart might explode from the excitement. what are you doing in that car? And then you cut me off because you can't see. You're in a Maserati and you're doing 6 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's maddening.
One day we're all going to have those Maseratis in our 60s, and we'll go.
But I'm
in
going to
line.
drive it like a
No,
motherfucker.
there's going to be a
right.
line of us. All 4 of us will be going 8 miles an hour, and we're all under the speed limit.
You'll do it just to be a dick, and I'll be behind you furious.
We're all going to high five. We made it. We made it. We got the Maseratis, boys.
All right, Adam, you got anything you want to plug? We're at about we're at the 2 hour mark.
I was
We
hoping
wrap
to
up.
promote myself this podcast, but I think I made a lot of enemies.
I think you were doing good until you were like, I want to chop everyone's dick off.
You lost everybody to chopping dicks off.
Yeah,
What?
even Hitler drew the line there.
But like we said earlier, if people are talking about you, it's a good thing. So maybe, who knows? Maybe it's helping. Maybe people will come out to watch you. Like, this guy wants to cut people's dicks off. Let's watch him. Hopefully he gets beat up.
That's what,
So you got anything you want to plug?
yeah, come on, support me January 14th.
Barclays.
Barclays Center.
Not the 24th, the 14th.
14th.
Yeah, it'll be a good night, and go score boxing. I mean, it's a rise, Brooklyn boxing. It should be fun.
You got social media, right?
Yeah, check me out on AK Babyface on Instagram, and Adam Kownacki on Facebook.
We got to spell that out.
KOWNACKI. And Adam is ADAM.
It sounds like you
For the-
spelled your last name a lot of times in your life, right?
Yeah.
Every time you say it, somebody's probably like, spell that.
Yeah,
Dude, I have to spell my name all the time, and I have the easiest name
No,
ever.
your name's not easy.
Della Rocca.
There could be a K in it. There could be one L.
Get
There's a
the
lot of
fuck-
variations. And your last name is two. His last name is 2 words, with 2 capitals.
Yeah. I don't know why and shit.
That's like a middle name too. You look like
Some
two
people
middle
think it
names.
is my middle name. Some people think it is my middle name. I'm like,
There you
they're,
go.
they're like, why do you always put your middle name in?
Easiest
What the
last
fuck you
name
talking
ever,
about?
right?
Not you bad. You change
There
it.
could be
to
a lot of
Kownacki.
variations.
And people think I'm Irish all the time. Like, oh,
Yeah, you do look Irish though.
not
It's
even
the
a little
gray, I
bit.
think, is the gray.
No, even
Yeah,
before I was
I
gray.
can see a little, like,
He does look Irish.
yeah.
I think.
No,
so.
I don't have
see
a
it.
drop
Like
of
Conor
Irish in me.
McGregor.
Let's see. You and Connor, you guys are boys.
You know what it is?
Putting back a Guinness,
No.
puffing your chests out, doing walking around in your fancy suits all the
With
time.
the arms.
Yeah, with the arms.
Yeah, definitely don't walk like that.
Nah, I
I'm
started
way
walking like
goofier.
I've seen you
I
walk
walk,
like that.
I'm too goofy to walk like that. Keith makes fun of me all the time. He's like, you know, like even when I punch, he's like, you're stomping, and like you guys just make fun of me playing football. He's like, do you know how like heavy you run? Like you run like a fucking elephant. There's zero
You
grace.
do run real heavy because when you start sprinting on the treadmill next to me, it like shocks me. And, like I have to like prepare myself for it. Like, oh, Dave's gonna start sprinting. If I'm just like jogging, all of a sudden it's just like, like Fred Flintstone just came home.
Yeah, there's no grace in my style. She pops up from the knocking.
Dogs out. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
You woke her up.
All right, so yeah, Adam, follow him on social media if you guys want to try and come and check out the fight. Everybody listening, we said that we were going to take a little bit of a break, but we made a special exception recording during our break to help Adam out.
Get this right up, too.
Yeah, we'll put this right out. We'll get this up
Tomorrow,
maybe Monday.
Actually, tomorrow, no, not even.
Well, I mean, I'd like to
tomorrow.
promote it a little bit more than release it right away. Maybe give it like over the weekend and put it out on Monday.
I'm down with whatever. Yeah, that'll let us put a bunch of social media up in the
Yeah,
meantime.
so
So
we
that'll
can
work.
promote it a little bit and get Adam out there and get some people coming and generate some buzz in a short week. So, Adam, thanks, man.
Thank you for. Well, I kind of invited myself, but
Well, a little bit. I mean, we talked about prior to getting you on, but this time around you did a little bit. But yeah, it's
I
all
was
good.
like, yeah, I'll come through.
Thursday, 8:00.
You know what though? I'm into that. That makes me happy, honestly. Like that made me happy that you wanted to come because like when people want to
I
come,
heard people cancel, right? That's my name.
Yeah, some
yeah,
people we
you
know.
can say you can name drop his name, shame him a little bit.
Shane?
What's his name?
I forgot. What was it?
Gregor.
Gregor.
But no,
Another guy that we fight who trains and fights too.
yeah. But not just that though.